Chapter 77, Mount Anthor. John's POV. The scene didn't change much. Just me, the girl, and the corpse, half corpse. The only thing that was added to the scene was 1, 2, 3, 12, 13. 13 more figures dressed in white and covering their faces. They appeared out of nowhere just a few seconds after I blew the Justiciar into bloody goo. Their looks were unique yet similar to each other. I haven't seen an eye color like this before, but it may be light gray. Don't know. They also are holding strange weapons. Some look like war picks and others have chains in them. Kinda look like ninja weapons, but I know ninja weapons, and these clearly are not. The people themselves gave off the air of Nords, but they didn't act like Nords, which made me not so sure if they are Nords or another race. But it is a weird scene nonetheless. A girl with red eyes and looks like a lady from a prestigious family, standing and guarded by 13 weird shinobi-like people who probably share the same ancestry. Are you alright, young miss? Don't worry, he means no harm. She spoke up for me. More than that, when she did, they eased up a bit and showed less hostility to me. Still, how do you know that? I asked in a smug way. The girl looked at me, and I could feel her smile behind the veil. I can tell, she said. I couldn't hide my tired mentality. Perfect. Another weirdo. They people showed no reaction except for one. Insolent. Apologize or I'll make you. He came out and pointed a short blade at me. The others sighed and shook their heads. Apparently, his actions are out of their norm. I looked at the guy, and he seemed to be in a close age to me. His posture and weapon-holding technique are new to me. Looked interesting. Point that away before you injure yourself, boy. A voice came from behind me. That was Joel aiming her bow at him. The situation got frozen for a few seconds, but someone broke the ice. Stop embarrassing yourself, you fool. A girl's voice came from one of the white figures. The guy didn't back off and pressed further. Yeah, stop embarrassing yourself and apologize immediately. Huh. Sigh. I was talking to you, Icebrain. The girl spoke once again. Huh. The boy got taken aback as it seemed he didn't expect it. He was at a loss from embarrassment now. Don't think about it too much, I said. Wah. I don't need you to comfort me. He shouted at me. The situation was fun. I kinda see that these people are not that shady as the look. Still, I guess I can't stay like this all day. There is some stuff I want to do. I guess it all went well, but I need to be on my way now if you excuse me. I turned around and pointed to Joel. Wait, the red-eyed girl called. The people that were being chased, please lead us to them. She seemed concerned about them. Fine, I am going back to them anyway. She nodded and whispered something to her people. Some of them ran and brought some horses a minute later. I think we need to hurry. You and your friend can share the ride with us, FO, huh? She was speaking to me but suddenly halted and looked to the side. The others also followed her gaze on guard. I was not detecting anything weird from that direction. It was just Joel bringing back the fire horses. Aha. So this girl has a good detection ability too. I felt I looked down on her a little bit. System. Show their levels. The girl was LV 19. That's stronger than me. The boy that acted hostile towards me was LV 16. The others varied between LV 30 and LV 15. This is some serious force. Some of them were even stronger than the Justiciars. Anyway, Joel came with the fire horses, and some commotion happened between these people. They clearly didn't see this one coming. I jumped on my horse and looked expressionlessly at them. It took them a moment to process what happened and rode in their horses silently. Who are these people? Joel came close and asked. In the same time, the boy who showed hostility towards me approached the red-eyed girl and asked, Who is that person? I and the girl could hear from a long distance, so we looked at each other with curiosity. I have no idea. Alina's POV. We rode with haste towards the direction that mysterious young man guided us to. I was really in a hurry to finish the mission entrusted to me by the elders, but it seemed that this young man has already done the deed. He said he has taken care of it alone. I don't know how powerful he is, but he clearly showed it off on purpose when he killed that Justiciar, maybe overkilled. I don't know anymore. All I can tell that he didn't lie to me. The only problem is, He is very unpredictable. Unpredictable people show many future possibilities and are hard to read. Well, he can't lie in front of my eyes, so I guess there is no harm. After all, unpredictable people are the most interesting. More than that, this horse he is riding is clearly an Atronach. An Atronach that can reshape itself is only mentioned in tales of the Three Banners War during the Planemeld, an event that occurred the Elder Scrolls Online. This was done by Molag Bal when he tried to drag Nirn out of Mundus and take it to his realm. During the Planemeld, it was said that some conjurers could achieve this degree of controlling an Atronach and forcing it to take the form they want. Best guess is, this young man is from a very prestigious faction that has excelled in the conjuration school. Maybe the children of Hafara, but these people don't come here. The nearest place that provides practice to conjuration is the College of Winterhold, but those are part of the outside world and we have a good relationship with them. I need to start learning how to scry from now on, but it is also another lost art. While I was sinking into my thoughts, my clansmen halted their horses, which alerted me. There seems to be something ahead. I saw 3 of Frost Atronachs standing ahead and guarding a place. Please give me a second. The young man jumped from his horse and went to them. He then started banishing them back to oblivion. He is good, the team leader said. I can see that too. The team leader is just temporary working under me, but he is the one who is actually giving orders. As the third young miss, my role is only to act solemn and look pretty. Anyway, the young man seemed to have done and signaled us to come ahead. Young man, you really took all of them on your own? The team leader asked. Hee, nothing really special. I just hit a lot of Frost Atronachs around and they walked right into the trap. Well done. The team leader said, listen, these elves have a lot of quality armor and some valuables. I will offer you a good price for them. Fine. The young man agreed without thinking. Good. You, and you. Loot the bodies that burn them. 3 of the team went down and started the work. The rest of us kept following the young man. Not long later, we caught up with the Talos worshippers. They looked fine. Sir Mage, you are back. Did you find the Thaul? Who are these people? One man stepped up quickly but halted when he saw us. The young man glared at us and his hand touched his sword. I guess I had to mention this before. Damn it. I forgot to tell. Wilmet, I am a traveler and these are my guards. This morning we came across a boy who was wounded in the snow. His name was Volker and he said that Thalmor were chasing his family, so we rallied to aid. Volker is alive. Talos bless you, my lady. Where is he? He is back at the camp with some of my guards. You can rest assured. This was not completely true, but also I didn't lie. We found the boy in the clan's territory, and when we found out that some Talos worshippers were in distress along with a Thalmor infiltration to our land, this had to be responded at with firmness. We also carried some orders and supplies for the matter of those people. But the problem occurred quickly, or I guess this was only natural. These people have already decided to escape to Windhelm and be protected by Ulfric Stormcloak. This will cause problems in the long run. We can ask the Firemane clan to take them in, but that needs a prior contact even though they are our sworn allies. What a headache. As I was thinking of a way out of this, the young man took part in the conversation. Sigh, you can just go to Winterhold. Winterhold? This place is doomed within a few years. Doesn't he know that? The people tried to tell him this, but he said, I wasn't going to help in this matter, but if you folk went to Windhelm, you may cause a political problem. Don't ask about the details, but you can actually go to Winterhold. The place started to change 3 months ago. Some fellow rebuilt a part of the old town. He is looking for people to work for him there. Take this token to Winterhold and ask for Trudvar or Mistress Alishka. Tell them what happened and everything will be fine. He didn't lie. My eyes told me that. This is news to me, and clearly news to the whole clan. Winterhold is under the mercy of the Bloodsails clan. Even the college doesn't operate openly in the town. If someone managed to control that puppet of a Jarl, then the town can be liberated. I looked at the team leader, and we both understood what needs to be done. We will also send 2 men with you to Winterhold. This is the number we can spare for now, as we are under an important mission at the moment. The team leader said, whoever that person is, we must make contact with him. This is clearly of great importance. This young man is indeed from the college. He wanted to hide it, but indeed we are lucky to meet him. I can't thank him enough now. After this, and that we parted with the Talos worshippers, and said our thanks to the young man. He got paid for the elven armor we looted, and he seemed to want to part quickly. Sigh. Interesting people are indeed rare. I guess I'll take this guard and pay the sacred ground a visit before I go back to my boring clan. John's POV. I hate to put my identity into situations like these. I had to help the worshippers of Talos by preventing them from going to Ulfric. This is a headache, but it was worth it. Problem is, these white shinobi-like people and the red-eyed girl may figure something out about me. I hate this. I have a phobia regarding my identity leak. This is something that was hammered into me by Uncle Delvin himself. He taught me the importance of secrecy when it comes to dealing with people, and also the importance of fame. That is why my name is John Dare is my famous one, the one I look good in. And even though I don't want anyone to find out about me now, yet I had to put it on the line for the sake of those people. To tell the truth, I shouldn't have acted. I could only give directions to Winterhold and nothing more. But when I saw the red-eyed girl giving a distressed look like that, I felt the urge to act. Did I really have to be the hero? Stupid. Stupid. You are no hero. My brain is overheating right now. Human, want a kiss, Naya? Nefertiti woke up and is making a cute face. Sigh, not angry anymore. Can't be. Yes, please, kiss me. Naya, you kiss me, Naya. Human. If you kiss me, Naya, you be happy, Naya. What's with that logic? Kiss me, Naya. Fine. Here. See, you feel good, Naya. Just stuff this in your mouth and go sleep. I gave her a dried fish and put her back in the basket. She became really cheeky. Me too. Joel rode beside me. Want a fish? No. Kiss me. Sigh. This will not end. After half a day of fast riding, we reached our destination. Mount Anthor. Mount Anthor is a mountain southwest of Winterhold and west of the Shrine of Azura. Ancient Nords built a word wall just a few meters beneath the summit of the mountain. The mountain is most famous as the site of the battle between Olaf One-Eye and the dragon Numinex during the War of Succession. Olaf One-Eye was the Jarl of Whiterun at that time. After the death of the last king of Isgrimor's dynasty, a civil war broke out between the Holds and the victor was Olaf. One of his deeds was slaying Numinex, a dragon that was told to be a foul-tempered one that wiped out entire villages, burned cities, and killed countless Nords. I came for this place for only one reason: the word wall. A word wall is a wall etched with a set of words in the dragon language. Multiple word walls can be found in various locations throughout Skyrim. In the game, on each word wall, one of these words may be highlighted. A highlighted word is a word of power. It is associated with a certain shout the player can use in the game. Most importantly, the word walls out in the mountains are dragon lairs. I can consider that my arrival at such a place is already an attempt to gain the words before the dragons come back to the world. As I arrived at the place, it appeared as a large yard with few stones here and there, as well as a long stairway that leads to a higher area in the mountain. I found some burial urns and some flowers here and there. Apparently, some Nords cremated their dead kin and kept the burial urns here. This may be some sacred grounds now. Anyway, I need to copy the words on the wall and be on my way. I walked through the place in respect for the buried dead and advanced to the stairway immediately. On the top of the ridiculously long stairway, I found the word wall. A half-circular stone carved in the mountain with Nordic decorative carvings on the top and draconic alphabetical runes all along the wall. This is it. Just what I was looking for. What is that nonsense? Joel approached the wall and looked at the characters she did not understand. You ignorant. This wall is priceless. The amount of knowledge recorded here can't be valued with a normal human sense of value. What do you mean? Every word on this wall is a possible word of power, but there is only one I am looking for right now. It should call for me. Where is it? Will this be like the game where the word calls for the player, or I should find it on my own? Wait. Here. This word is emitting power. This word is 4 runes. I recognize them. It is Slen. If I remember, it means flesh. Slen is the second word of the ice form shout. It is Izslenus, which means ice flesh statue. It is a Thursdayum to freeze the opponent solid. I haven't practiced this Thursdayum yet, but it's ridiculously strong. One can turn a man into a solid ice statue, a mammoth onto a preserved mammoth. It may be used in preserving food. Okay, I'll stop right here. There is already a spell for that. Anyway, I need to understand this word like in the game. Any ideas? Should I call the augur? No, not yet. I'll just channel Magicka to the word. Let's see. What is this? Why does it? Wah. Arg. John, are you okay? Can you hear me? I can hear Joel, but I feel I can't. My flesh. This is the flesh. The word is affecting me? Huff. Huff. That was extreme. I fall on my, but after this experience, I understood. They flesh. It was like this after all. My head gained a lot of knowledge. I gained an understanding of the term of flesh. Not a human understanding, but a dragon understanding. This was strange. The flesh to the dragons is something entirely different than mortals. What a profound way of thinking. I can't even describe it in mortal language. Scary. I am all right now. What was that just now? I gained some knowledge. Sigh. Joel sighed. I told you studying is be harmful. This idiot, well, whatever. Anyway, I'll copy these words on the wall in dragon language, for your sake, and if you one day want to learn the Thursdayum, write what I am going to say. I stood and started copying the words on the wall in Draconic alphabet, while Joel was copying after me with the common alphabet. After we finished, she handed me her note and I started correcting her mistakes and writing a translation. The final product is this. Non-volbron damasayan dar rotdu fin fodiz bo armaoran. Pierre uzayan dwin aalkreh rk krin and uz slen du vaza muz los sian du gavioen. Noble Nords, remember these words of the Whore Father. Even best steel may bend and break, but flesh of true men is unyielding. These words are legit from the wiki. It looked good. I may create my own Thursdayum one day with words like this. I double-checked the words and packed things up. As we were finishing up, we heard a voice calling, "Who dares trespass the sacred grounds of Clan Moonblade?" Chapter 78. Alina's Scheme. John's POV. Who dares trespass the sacred grounds of Clan Moonblade? Seriously? Hey Joel, who are those Moonblades? No idea. I was taken aback by that loud voice. It was a bit familiar, but I didn't really remember whose voice it is. It was of a young man and carried a hint of being irradiated. Looking around, I saw someone walking through the ruins around the stairway that I was walking down. Once our eyes met, we recognized each other immediately, even though we were cowering our faces. Oh, it's Icebrain. You. The one I saw was Icebrain, one of those shinobi in white with the red-eyed girl. He is the one who raised a short sword at me. What are you doing here? This is the sacred grounds of our clan. He was talking to me in irritation. That's so. Clan Moonblade. Did I hear correctly? Yes. Sorry, I didn't see any sign or marking saying this is your clan's ground. And if that's the case, then why is it not guarded? This? He clearly has no idea. What's wrong, Skywalker? Sky. What now? The one who said that was someone who just popped into the scene. It is the red-eyed girl. My lady, these two are trespassing the sacred grounds. Do you realize that you look like a kindergarten kid who is complaining to his teacher about another kid? Sigh. I am not sure what is going on here, but I had completely no idea this was some clan's sacred grounds. The girl looked at me and nodded. How understanding. I am sure the grounds are normally unguarded, but we left few banners here and there to mark the area. Skywalker remembered something and said, "He is clearly displeased with me." I indeed saw some old banners, but they really looked too old to be used for any purpose, I said, and with all due respect, I have never heard of your clan before. That aside, these grounds used to be dragon lairs, and 4 years from now, they will return to their rightful owners. Just don't bother. Is that so? The red-eyed said while frowning. Then let me ask you a question. Did you lay a hand on anything in these grounds? What a question. I didn't steal anything, and I didn't go near the burial urns. This was the truth. You said the truth, but you didn't answer the question. She was covering her face, but I think she was grinning. I may have picked a flower from there. She frowned again after I said that. Interesting. So that's how it works. You are a mystic. I arrived at a conclusion. This girl has a natural gift in mysticism. She can detect lies. People with inborn talent is mysticism. How vexing. Based on her eye color that is different from the rest of her clansmen, she is clearly something special among them, not just in status, but in talent too. Furthermore, I learned she is from a clan called Moonblade. I guess I know about her as much as she knows about me now. Probably. The girl looked at me with her enchanting eyes as if she was amused by what she heard. How dare you talk like this? You will pay for disrespecting Lady Crimson Moon. Contrary to all of our expectations, the fellow called Skywalker drew his blade and rushed at me. Even the girl who apparently is called Crimson Moon was surprised and tried to stop him. He was clearly intending to start a fight with me from the very beginning. And on top of all that, he has already said the magic word. Even if you are a Daedric prince, don't you ever dare me. Dare is my cern. I was going to say the famous quote I say every time someone dares me, but I was interrupted by Joel's action. She unsheathed her short sword and rushed to clash with Skywalker. That Skywalker was clearly well-trained. His level was equal to Argier in both terms of speed and power. However, what surprised me the most was his use of martial arts. In this world, martial arts are rare, and from what I researched, they are only used by those who can harness their aura. The moves he showed are really interesting. Still, nothing to impress me. Jellinar is both faster and stronger than him, and the techniques that I taught her are superior to his moves. He used also one short blade at first, but when he got pressed by Joel, he took out another blade. Eventually, both of them started using the twin blade style. His weapon techniques, on the other hand, is better than Joel's. It appeared as if it was hammered into him since young age. I was getting fed up with the meaningless fight, so I decided to stop them with magic, but I felt a strong gaze on me. That Crimson Moon was staring at me as if she will move as soon as I move. I guess this is going to drag out for a big fight now. I used the Flames spell, the most basic novice-level flame spell, just to see what this girl is made of, but the result was not clear. She used frost magic, and we got entangled in our own magic duel. I didn't go hard on her from the start, but she started pushing fiercely. This level of pushing fiercely meant nothing to me. I was just trying to see the limit of a hidden clan youngster. If I have to assess her level based on the college's ranking, then she could be considered a Destruction Scholar rank. You are good, Conjurer, she said. Let's get serious. Until now, we were using only one hand, and the spell clash area looked as if we were equal, only because I wanted to. But this girl now added her free hand and dual cast the spell at me. The duel was turning to her favor, and my spell was being pushed back, only because I wanted to. Use your other hand. She wanted me to face her seriously, but I only found that cute. I couldn't help but smile. I adjusted the magicka output and stopped her push with only one hand cast. She looked a bit confused, but in her mind, she clearly was justifying it to herself. I guess I should end this. I pushed her back with a strong channeling that made her open her beautiful red eyes wide open. She thought she can push me based on her natural talent in magic, but I crushed her expectation. A few seconds later, she was at her limit, and her spell was a finger's length of getting completely suppressed. Just to not harm her, I canceled her magic and mine at the same time, yet it still pushed her back a bit. I almost saw a beautiful face under the veil she covered her face with, but too bad she was far. No. Skywalker panicked during his duel with Joel and pushed her away. He then ran towards me to stop me from harming his clan's young lady. I didn't want to deal with using magic, so I received him with a kick, then disarmed him. added some punches and kicks, and he was ready to be served on the ground. "We submit," the girl said. "We will not fight you." I looked at the boy on the ground and said, "Because of your impulsive actions you brought hardships to your lady and may have brought her harm. I hope this serves as a lesson." I tried to say something nice just to look righteous. These kids are from a hidden clan, and I am not sure if they will leave me be if I acted with haughtiness now. "No, this is my fault," Crimson Moon said. "I had to stop him when I had the chance, not to join him. I got excited. I truly apologize." "Really no need. I understand. Can I ask you something?" "Ahem. By all means." "Your talent in the magic casting is clearly very superior. I was wondering, are you a conjurer or a pyromancer, fire mage?" "Me? I am a mystic." The girl was shocked once again. She stared into space and started thinking. "What about the fighting techniques you used just now?" "That's my own style." She turned speechless. Meanwhile, Skywalker got up from the ground and looked at me. "What can I call you with?" This Skywalker was asking like this for my name. "Fine. You can call me Darth Vader," I said, barely suppressing my laughter. "Darth Vader, next time. I am not losing," he declared as if he was supposed to be an equal from the start. "Whatever you want. Sir Darth, you can call me Crimson Moon of the Moonblade clan. I have witnessed your skill and recognized it. Would you accept my offer to join Clan Moonblade?" Crimson Moon spoke as if she was offering me a piece of heaven. "My lady, you can't be serious. We don't even know his background." "Skywalker, I will leave that for the elders to decide." Crimson Moon. "But my lady, this matter will get worse if Skywalker. That's my final say." Crimson Moon. "Ahem. Excuse me, but I am not interested." "Me? What? How dare you refuse an offer from the lady?" "Skywalker, I advise you against using the word dare with him. It triggers him to do the complete opposite." "Joel. Humph. Fine. I dare you to join my clan." Crimson Moon. "Not interested." "Me. Homan is only mine, Naya." "Nefertiti." "That's right. Tell them. Nefertiti." "Me. Wah. So cute." Crimson Moon. "No touching." "Me. Please." Crimson Moon. "Nope." "Me. Pretty please." Crimson Moon. "Nope." "Me. How dare you refuse my lady's request?" Skywalker. Does this guy even learn? "Me. Crimson Moon. Joel." Alina's POV. After a while of argument, I managed to pat that cat. She was so fluffy. Nothing fluffy grows in Skyrim, but that was the fluffiest cat I have ever seen. Not long after, Darth Vader and his companion hit the road and left. I was greatly depressed after he refused my offer. Someone with this talent can bring change to the clan and may cause us to thrive further. I am sure that he is someone from the College of Winterhold. His magic skill gives off his rank as a wizard. He clearly is a famous figure there. Even the girl with him was talented and had a sharp atmosphere around her. They didn't use aura in the fight, but neither did we. It appeared that we are nearly the same age, but they could exert out more ability than us. The magic of Darth was simply strong. Stronger than me by levels. I was being blocked as if I was facing a mountain. Moreover, his bare-handed skill was superior to the clan's common techniques and equal to the secret arts. Lucky for him, the Skywalker with me is not very perceptive, but I could see the power and potential in it. He didn't lie to me about his specialty as a mystic, but there was clearly more to it. He also didn't lie about his fighting techniques. His name, however, was a complete hoax. Even I didn't need using my eyes to tell. He is a walking pile of interest. I can't get him out of my head now. Next time, I am not losing to him." Skywalker's Fakin was excited too. "I am not sure how your ice brain and hothead cooperate with each other in such harmony." This guy was so simple. Svakin is a childhood friend of mine, and he rose to the rank of Skywalker lately. Ahem. Excuse me, Lady Alina, but how will we report this to the elders?" "Report? Are you mad? I forbid you from uttering a single word about what happened here," I said hastily. Why is that? I don't think any problem shall arise if we reported anything." "Of course, there will be problems. How can I tell him this? How do you think the elders will react when they find out I was defeated by a young man like him? I don't understand. It all went well. Wait. You can't be speaking of that. Of course, he defeated me in my strong point with complete ease. This is my chance. No, 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 Alina. I mean, my lady, this can't happen. It may affect our relationship with the firemans. Humph. Listen here. My future will be decided by me, not whatever clan or whatever elder. I said that before, and I declared my decision in front of the whole clan, and they agreed. Technically, they were forced to agree, but they still agreed. Of course, I won't drag myself into a situation I can't deal with, so we are going to investigate him thoroughly. From now, we should get ready. I am joining the College of Winterhold. Bounce. Black small square premonition. My ear is ringing. Me. Which ear? Joel. The left. Me. Someone is planning trouble for you. Joel. What about the right? Me. Someone is feeling good about you. Joel. What happens if it is the two at the same time? Me. Then you are being dragged in a scheme by someone who likes you. Joel. Chapter 79. A Call for Help. Important announcement in Author Thoughts. We said our goodbyes to the Moonblade boy and girl, then headed directly west along with the mountain range that links between the holds of the Phail and Winterhold. Our goal is to travel swiftly and with haste to Wayward Pass, a passage between the mountains that leads from the snow wastes north the mountains to the plains and the forests in the south. This pass normally has no travelers, and it didn't have any bandits or monsters in the game. But unlike the game, places like this should have something like that. Luckily for us, Flame Atronach horses scare the shit out of bandits and beasts. The ride continued smooth to the west, and we took turn when we spotted the pass. There is no road in this place, but the path was cleared up and we could pick up the pace. The path went up until we reached a narrow path that extended for a short ride that took nothing but 15 minutes. During the ride, we saw skeletal remains of beasts and men hanged on the walls and was put in a weird and spooky manner. There was also an altar and a shrine that belonged to of the divines called Arche. Anyway, the path continued, but the sun had already set. Traveling at night is madness, but camping in this kind of place was not something I would want to do. We rode full speed ahead for the first time on the journey. Joel fell in love with how fast the Flame Atronach horse can run. It was a thrilling experience, but needed a lot of control. After a while, we reached the plains south of the mountains and started to take it easy. We kept using the night vision spell and kept headed south until we reached a road. It took us a while to find a road sign. It took a while, but it all went well. My destination was the Nightgate village, a village that was built around a traveler's inn and was considered part of the Phail, but it has a unique location between the three holds of the Phail, Winterhold, and Eastmarch. I was traveling to this inn as the first stop of my training plan. Around the inn, there were some interesting locations and places I intend to visit. To the east, there are Forsaken Cave and Ygrim Overlook Ruin. To the northwest, where we are coming from, are Ironbind Barrow and Silverdrift Lair. To the west, there is a grove called Shrouded Grove. And finally, to the southeast, there is Corvinjund Ruins. All these places are locations of great interest for those who know the value and the secrets in them. Most of them are ancient Nordic ruins of past eras. Only Shrouded Grove is just a natural site and a place where I expect to find a troll inn. During the coming months, I intend to conquer as much as I can of these places. Some of them are pretty dangerous, and some enemies are just impossible to face in such a place to the current me, but with a great plan, I'll conquer them clean. I reviewed these plans with Jellinar as we approached the inn. Once we detected signs of human activity, we banished the Flame Atronach horses and switched to walking. Mages like myself are treated coldly in these parts, while adventurers are always welcomed. I prefer the adventurer treatment this time. Walking into the village, it was already night, but the villagers were awake and the patrolling guards spotted us. They treated us suspiciously, but as I declared my identity as an adventurer, I was welcomed and guided to the inn. The inn was the center of the town. There are some lumbering workers and a herbalist in the village, but all worked for the inn in the end. After I entered the inn, I noticed that like many other taverns, Nightgate Inn consists of a huge tap room with a fireplace in the center and the counter at the opposite end of the room from the entrance. A few wooden tables are scattered around the taproom, all of them set with chairs and candles. In addition to the taproom, the inn also has some smaller rooms with beds and reserved for paying customers. When I got in, the inn was nearly empty. I found a table, but the stuff on the floor, and sat on a chair resting my aching bones. A while later, a shadow came towards us and spoke. "Ah, hello there, traveler. Come to the night gate for food or lodging?" The man who talked is a Nord, half-bald, and with a beard. His appearance reminded me of that NPC, the innkeep Hardling. Mead, warm food, a bit of smoked or dried fish, and a room for two. In addition to the taproom, the inn also has some smaller rooms with beds and reserved for paying customers. When I got in, the inn was nearly empty. I found a table, but the stuff on the floor, and sat on a chair resting my aching bones. A while later, a shadow came towards us and spoke. "Ah, hello there, traveler. Come to the night gate for food or lodging?" The man who talked is a Nord, half-bald, and with a beard. His appearance reminded me of that NPC, the innkeep Hardling. Mead, warm food, a bit of smoked or dried fish, and a room for two. First he said that John made a challenge with the Jarl of Winterhold. Then he went to Dawnstar and became an owner of a ship. He took the ship and made a clash with some cultists and pirates and escaped from the teeth of death by smashing his way through them. There was also a girl I don't recognize called Lady Jellinar with him. After he did the mighty deeds, he tricked the evil Jarl and became a Thane. Then he opened some business and a bathhouse in Winterhold along with some small projects. These projects made him the most popular man in the town and became a strong figure who employed hundreds of people, all in 4 months. The boss is an absolute genius in the eyes of many, and he is the only one who can keep a dying town like Winterhold stand on its feet again. The reason for the town's dilemma are pirates, and they own the Jarl. Even if the boss could somehow trick the Jarl to leave him alone, the news would eventually be leaked to the pirates. This problem was anticipated by the boss, and he gave me a plan on how to act 3 weeks ago just before he leaves for a training journey, but an unpredicted problem happened. What is it? We had an old blacksmith in town who supplied us with all what we needed. After the first clash with the pirates, we found the old man to be not enough. More than that, he became sick a week ago. I was in charge of the town along with Trudvar the Housecarl, but there was a little in what we can do, and if the students of the college helped us, their prices would exhaust the amount of money we have. After all, those are mages we are talking about. So you want me to come? I didn't think of it as the first option, but I was depressed and requested to talk with Lady Narina, the boss's mother. She told me to come to you immediately. Mother said so? Sviti exclaimed. You too call he that? Angium was surprised. Well, only girls got to call her mother. John was the exception. Even if the headmistress didn't tell you that, you should have came to me from the beginning. My brother's affairs are my affairs. Also, you're telling me I'll be the head blacksmith, right? Well, I heard you are a very good blacksmith. Humph. Brother is one of the best. No, he is the best. Sviti stood up for me. I get it. Sigh. She starts acting childishly again. The only reason I worked here was that the pay was great and I could see Bjorna all day across the street. But if my brother is calling, then I dare not to answer. Even though I won't see Bjorna. I feel bad, but John always said a word when it comes to this situation. If I remember, it was, brothers before hoes, but I don't know why did he use the hoe to describe a girl. I mean, the hoe is not that nice looking, or need any creativity to make one. He should have used some good-looking tool instead. Anyway, thinking about it won't do. I'll go with Angium after I end with the owner. Hello, anyone? I heard a familiar voice. That's Bjorna. Sviti jumped from her place and went to see Bjorna. What brings her in this hour? A few seconds later, some figures came to the place I sat with Angium in. Long time, lad. This cheerful as ever voice is Aunt Scotty. She came from her clan then. Following her, another hooded figure appeared. It looked like another Aunt Scotty. I worked my mind rapidly and guessed who she is. This is the rumored sister of Aunt Scotty and the mysterious woman who first taught John how to fight. I must admit, this woman is 100 times scarier than Aunt Hilda. Even Angium stood up in respect. Aunt Scotty, W.E.L. met. Looking good, lad. Who's with you? That's Angium from the tourney. He works for John. Scotty and the other woman, who I think is Hilda, looked at Angium, who barely looked composed. This is the owner of the store across the street, Aunt Scotty Firemane. Firemane? Angium lost his composure. Ahem. Sorry. I am a captain of a small ship and work for Boss John Dare. He is? I know John. The other woman spoke. I taught him how to fight. So this is Hilda. Anyway, good to meet you, lad. Scotty cut in. We're here to take Bjorna back, but she wanted to see your sister before we go. We also wanted to see if you want to go to Winterhold. We can take you along the way. So this is how it is going. Actually, Angium came for the same purpose. It seemed that there are some complications with John's work in Winterhold. I told them what Angium told me. Silence took over for a while. So, how is the boy doing? Scotty asked while looking at Hilda. The boss would have solved any problem with no need to worry anyone. He can't be worried about, so he is mostly fine. Some people came to the town a few weeks ago saying that someone with the boss description helped them from Thalmor pursuers by killing all of them. This was the last we know about his news. Judging by his character, he managed to deal with it just fine. I am supposed to head to Winterhold tomorrow, then to Windhelm and meet him there. Seemed like he is busy. Scotty then questioned Angium about John, and every time he answered, she and Hilda would put on a small grin. Nothing was strange on my side. That was just him johnning around. The only thing on my mind was Bjorna, who would leave tomorrow. I guess I have one less reason to stay now. Sviti will finish up her studies, and I'll come to pick her up so it wouldn't be a problem. After a while, Hilda, Scotty, and Bjorna said their farewells and left. Angium also left and I took Sviti home. On the way, we met with Battleborn, who almost cried when he knew I am going to a fight and he can't tag along. Hee hee. This will be fun. Important announcement in Author Thoughts. Chapter 80, The White Phail. Good morning, Skyrim. Good morning, Jelinar. Good morning, Nefertiti. Good morning, everyone. Why are you guys looking at me with those eyes? What is the matter? Shouldn't people feel energetic in the morning? I feel like I have slept for 13 days. Well, whatever. I guess I have to go eat now. It is a very important day. I will go dungeon delving with Jull over here, and it will be a piece of cake. Or so I thought. Why? Well, bandits. First of all, the cave, Forsaken Cave, was well hidden, and of course, it would be a perfect hiding place for dirty bandits. I didn't want to exhaust myself, so I left it for the undead. Only 9 bonemen and the bandits shit themselves and started panicking. Their boss tried to make a stand, but Jelinar took him down with an arrow. How I love her style. We are like Robin and Batman, except we are so into each other. I would have taken this girl to a showdown with mighty Little John, but she is still a minor in my eyes. Even though, I don't think I will hold out considering how she always teases and seduces me. Ups. I spaced out in the middle of a fight. My bad, my bad. Jelinar looked at me and was grinning. She already can read my mind this much. Sigh. Anyway, let's finish the last bandit. He was wailing from the arrows that hit his arms and legs. Mercy. I beg you. Please, mercy. Nope. Swish. Yep. Bandits need no mercy. Mercy won't be an option if we switched placed anyway. Joel was all smiles. She said that the scene of me taking lives is intoxicating to her. I guess she will need another madness rehab session. Later. What now? Now we look for valuables before we move on. Remember to always use detect, as if your life depends on it. Because it does. Of course, there may be traps from this point onwards. The deadly traps, not the cute ones. A few minutes later, we gathered some coins, mead, food, and good weapons. Do we use one of the sacks we brought with us? Yes. As we did just that, I was looking around the place. I had a hunch, and there was a good chance it was true. Joel, there are more bandits in the cave ahead. She nodded and readied her bow. I also evoked lighting magic and headed into the cave. Forsaken Cave was just like Hobbs Fall Cave, an icy interior with a chilling atmosphere. What first met us was a corridor with icy walls and floor. It turned right that went down to a bigger and vaster interior. It was a bit rocky with all the ice and snow in the cave. Moving ahead, what met us was the sight of an iron door, flanked by 2 flights of stairs that lead to raised areas. Looking at them, I deduced that they contained nothing of interest. John, the door is forcefully opened. Its lock is broken. Interesting. It needs either a good number of men or one hell of a brute to do this damage. What will we do? If we catch up to them, don't engage. They may leave a lot of tracks from this point onwards. I don't want to hinder them at all. You don't? Of course. They are working so hard clearing the enemies and taking the traps for our sake, unless we or the dungeon get rid of them. I said while pointing at a few undead and a corpse. How can your heart bring you to ruin such a beautiful relationship? Joel smiled and shook her head. Moving through the iron door, the place changed from the icy cave to a dusty and ancient Nordic ruin. It was still cold, though. Through the door is a short corridor that leads to a stairwell with a wooden spiral staircase down. At the bottom is a corridor. After moving ahead, a couple of turns open to a wide corridor. I felt that the place was a bit strange due to some reactions in my detect. After walking along the corridor, I found a pressure plate that activates a poison dart trap from a statue like a thing in the front. There were 2 dead bandits here. See what I am talking about? After walking beyond the trap and taking the turn, we cast night vision and things go really easier. We saw a few undead lying around here and there. Taking turns after turns and passing some traps, we also found some undead that didn't participate in the battle and fought them. Still, they were no match for my hammer. Agniare. The number of dead bandits past give. I am afraid my new friends are not doing very well here. Not that I am going to help or anything. The dungeon was going on until it reached a certain room, where I heard some voices. They seemed to be around 10 bandits, but they seemed to be in a tight situation. Another iron door blocked their path, and they were having some conflict. Some wanted to go back already. I am truly disappointed. System. Bandit LV 17. Bandit LV 21. Bandit LV 18. Bandy. I signaled to Joel and retreated back. So what's the plan? She asked. After a while, I was standing further away from the room and had my undead ready. Not long after, Joel came running from the bandit's direction. I stood there and waited until she came. Any time now, a sound of hustle came and the 10 or something bandits started rushing out looking for Joel. I was preparing an overcharged chain lightning and released it once most of them appeared. The first on got hit died before even knowing it. The second, the third, the fourth, and the one survived got killed by the Bone Man Legion I conjured. Anything worth looking at? I asked. I think this mace is enchanted with sun damage, Joel said. At least the idiots came prepared. Take it. A sunfire weapon is invaluable in undead-infested areas. We went back to the room and started breaking the iron door. Unlike the game, these doors are a bit hard to open and were meant to seal the tomb. I mean, why would the ones who built it put it for no reason? I used a frost atronak to bring it down. Nothing like it when we talk about being stuffed down. Banishing it, I re-summoned my undead legion once again, but this time I conjured normal ghosts. Spread ahead. That was the order I gave them. Now that I killed all the bandits, I still need some meat shield to uncover the traps and the strong enemies ahead. Unlike bone men, who I can only conjure 9 of them, ghosts are much easier to control, so I ended up conjuring 20 of them. The area beyond the door was known as Forsaken Crypt, the place I was aiming for from the start. Once the ghosts went in, traps and undead came out and obliterated them. I and Joel took our hammer and mace that can deal sun damage and took the role of finishing off the undead. There were many burial areas inside the crypt. It is a crypt after all. We were greatly outnumbered like some zombie apocalyptic movie, but it was an easy situation to get out of if I used magic. The point of this journey is to enhance my physical power, so magic will have to wait for a bit, unless it was for safety. The fight was pretty much done for in a few minutes. It was hard but thrilling. I almost imagined if I had the Berserker skills from Diablo game, it would have been awesome. After clearing the area, we took a lunch break and moved ahead back again. An accident happened when Joel stepped on a trap and its spike traps fell from above. I was a bit far, and I had no way of reaching her in time. The only thing I could do was to shout FUS at her. She was thankfully blown away by me rather than getting honeycombed by the trap. We had to take another healing break just after 10 minutes of our lunch break. I told her not to get cocky, but I guess she does things on her own pace. After that, we got ready to go again. If my memory serves me right, the next room will be hard and I have to prepare for a big fight. There was a door which behind one had to climb some stairs and cross the caged walkway above the previous room we fought the undead horde in. At the end is a wide corridor with several statues on either side. There was some undead patrolling this area and some other in an alcove to the right of the second statue on the left. The fights were easy and we kept advancing until we reached an iron door. Breaking the door activated a set of swinging blades in the corridor ahead that leads to the final room where all the fun is waiting. Passing the traps was easy too, but the big fight is ahead. There were a single sarcophagus, a word wall, and a stairway. I evoked my new expert restoration spell and started charging it with all my might. Joel, when I tell you that I am ready, go near that sarcophagus. When it blows open, run back here. Inin. She nodded. A few seconds later, the spell was fully charged. System, Magicka. Magicka, 245/520. Damn, just this spell took all that? Joel now. Joel approached the sarcophagus as I told, and its occupant burst forth and attacked. It was the boss of Forsaken Crypt, Master Alchemist Curelmill. Just as he came out from his resting place, he looked as ugly as the rest of the Draugr, but had a high-horned helm on his head. This gave out his rank as Draugr Overlord. System, this is Curelmill, Draugr Overlord LV 36. I think I underestimated the dungeon a bit. Another moment later, 4 more Draugrs came to the room. I was overcharging the new spell, Ultraviolent. A sun spell that can devastate the undead, but Curelmill is a bit too powerful for the current me. Just as I had him in sight, I aimed to the best position I can affect Curelmill. Just as I made the decision, I released the spell. A missile of sunfire was launched at Curelmill, and from the contact, I saw Curelmill getting blown away, but he was not done yet. Hurry and finish the rest. Joel, who was in a daze, carried her mace and started smashing the undead. They were not as easy as the last ones, though. I was more focused on casting spells. I managed to conjure 2 Draymorachurls. Mortal, shut up and fight. I have no time for their damn ego now. They are the best choice for the plan B in my head. Curelmill was standing up after it was blown away, and it seemed it is pissed. Just as he came to join the fray, I was ready for him. Back to where you came from, mate. Fussaroda. Yep, that is the best decision right now. Keep that guy away while finishing off his cronies, then gang up on him. And speaking of which, Joel and the duo-churls finished up their work. You two, pin it down. They only could follow my orders as they jumped on Curelmill like some American football players. I also joined them and cast Bind on it, then jumped on them. Joel, take my hammer and smash its damn head. Hurry, we are barely keeping it down. The situation was too chaotic, but it was somehow under control. Joel took the hammer and did as I said. A minute later, its resistance was no more. Phew, that was intense. I couldn't help but sigh. You are crazy. Look who's speaking. Joel was making a tired face, but I think it went well. Now, to claim the rewards. Mortal, you. Fuck off. I banished the churls immediately, Draymora and their damn bride. I have more important business now. Where is the package? I asked. Joel went to the knapsack she carries and took out a small wooden box. Here. She handed it to me. Hee. I opened the small wooden box with all the care in the world and took out a flask from it. This flask cost me 100 golden septim. A potent mixture made by a master alchemist. See where this is going. Curelmill, the boss of this tomb, was a master alchemist and a very crafty one. He was one of the best in his craft. To open the treasure chamber in his tomb, one needed such a mixture, and to pour it in an ancient bowl fixed near to Curelmill's sarcophagus, and the treasure chamber will open. Now, I am pouring the mixture in the bowl. At the end of the room, there was a word wall. Under it was a passage to the treasure room. Just as I finished pouring the mixture, the whole room started to shake as if something heavy was moving. This was the door to the treasure room. Joel, let's go. She followed as I walked ahead. I didn't neglect to scan the road ahead with detect, just to give myself a peace of mind. As I entered the room, I saw a tragic scene. Hundreds of ingredients were here and there, but they turned black after hundreds of years in sealing. Some inorganic ingredients were fine though. But I am not here for gold or ingredients. I am here for the white Phail. Mill created a very mysterious artifact called the white Phail, a flask that can refill its content from nothing. It was made by the first snow that fell on the throat of the world, the famous summit of High Hrothgar, the tallest mountain in the world. If you give this legendary Phail a drop of health potion, it will make itself full of health potion in one day. One may think it just creates one potion a day. What is its use even if it is so wondrous? Well, why would I make it refill a health potion if it can refill something more invaluable? And the thing about creating something from nothing is a hoax. I know it absorbs magicka and turns it into the potion. This is what I was after, and it was resting there at the end of the room on an altar. Alas, it was broken. Chapter 81. Dungeoneering. For those of you who asked about my exams, thank you guys so much. I passed and all. Also thanks for the support that made the novel hang in the top 20 even though it was paused for 2 weeks. You guys are awesome. And for the comments regarding the relationship between John and Joel. They haven't slept with each other yet. They only slept beside each other. Now here is the new chapter. Enjoy Heartsuit. Hey, John. Yes. While I was copying the word wall in the chamber of the boss of Forsaken Crypt, Joel came behind me and spoke. I was thinking, that's dangerous. Tell me before you do it next time. Okay, no need to get violent. You were thinking about what? The potion flask you came for. Did you know it was here from the beginning? She really was thinking. Yes, I did. Did you research its location or anything? You follow me the whole time, and you know the answer is no. All my research is magic-related, not really about history. Then how did you know that such a treasure is here? Didn't I say that I have a past life? Yeah, your past life and dragon stories, Joel said while rolling her eyes. That's it. Just that's it? If this treasure is a legendary item that is a dream of many alchemists, as you said, you can't just tell me you just know it. Yes, I got to know many secrets from my past life. Joel, who was making a confused face, sat down on the ground beside me. It doesn't make any sense. I know. It makes no sense even to me. But you do believe me. I believe you. It is not that you are an honest person. You just don't care about lying from the beginning, right? Not really. But I figured if the truth got revealed one day, the people dear to me wouldn't say that I lied or hid anything from them, right? Joel raised her brows, taken aback by my reasoning. She then thought and said, but you didn't prove it either. Simply, I have no proof. But the file is just a treasure. Even if I said anything, people may think I am crazy. And if they believed me, they will only care about how many information they can extract out of me. Think of all the stuff I know. A dragon break 4 years from now, 3 Elder Scrolls, the Staff of Magnus, Oriel's Bow, and other Daedric artifacts that can make the sanest person lash at me if I said I can acquire them. Joel was in a daze now. These things just now, you know them from your past life? Yes. And how did your past life know them? There was a visual novel called RPG. It told the story of the events around Skyrim in year 4 times 10 to the power of negative 201. Joel was looking at me with wonder. Visual novel? RPG? I know it is unbelievable, but did you come from the future? Oh, that's an interesting way of thinking. No, I lived in a realm different from Nirn. This is even more unbelievable. It is actually more of a different world or a different universe, but there are limits for how she can understand. By any chance, were you a dweemer in your past life? Bwahahaha. How did you come to that conclusion? This was truly funny. The way this girl's head work is interesting. I was copying the word wall while having this heartwarming conversation with Joel. I don't know what is the relationship between the ruins and the word walls, but I think the word wall was something older than the ruins around it. Anyway, it said, Thoringer Wallan Kethsagal Imoni Varuk Numi when des Loswa Aus Nindu Pogn Ogm Aronazi. Thoringer raised this stone for his daughter's memory, Numi, whose fate it was to suffer the sting of many orc arrows. The important word in this wall was aus, which means suffer. It is the third word in, marked for death shout. I will comprehend it later. Now, let's get the hell out of here. The way out was not that simple. The game always made some escape route in every boss room, but in real life, such a luxury was not available. Sometimes immersion strikes his back and it becomes tough. On the way out, Jellinger asked, "So why is it broken? That white Phail thing?" I don't know why is it broken, but the only idea that comes to mind is that such a thing is normally really hard to damage unless you are its creator. Why would he create all this crypt if the thing he wanted to protect the most is already of no value? Good question. I have two guesses. The first, that he was really a mean son of a bitch and wanted to torment whoever took his treasure by letting them come out of this empty-handed. You don't look like a tormented person to me. I smiled. Oh. Your past life has a story about it too? That takes me to my second guess. Maybe the creator was a wise and a smart-ass dude that he wanted to make another trail. Remember that he made the door to the treasure room only open by a very potent mixture that can only be made by a true master. Which means, the last trail is to repair the Phail? Aha, and you can do it? Nope, that is beyond my skill. Then who will? The same person who I ordered the potent mixture from. Master Alchemist Nerelian in Windhelm. As soon as I said that, Jellinger froze in her place. We are going to Windhelm? Yeah. Oh crap. I completely forgot. Jellinger was born in Windhelm and has some bad memories about the place. Her mother fled from there because of the bad treatment of both Nords and Dunmer. Hey, come here. I rushed and hugged her. Sorry, I didn't tell you. I completely forgot. I can take you back to Winterhold if yo. Foo. I heard a faint laugh coming from her, and suddenly I was hugged back tightly. Hello, which Jull is that? She looked at me and she was all smiles. Shit. This smile, these eyes. Yandra Jull is online. So this is how much you care about me. Foo, don't worry about me. As long as we are together, I won't feel anything or anyone. Her words are sweet, but her body is stuck to mine and is squirming left and right. She is going haywire again. Joel, quickly look over there. I said, so distracting her for a bit. As soon as she looked away, I was already punched her head hard that she screamed and held to her head with teary eyes. So cruel, she complained. Well, cruel or whatever. A lusty Yandarajul is the last thing I want to deal with right now. After a small quarrel, we continued our walk out of the cave. After we got back to the inn, fatigue assaulted us greatly. We were in our top focus condition during the dungeon delving, and we didn't notice that almost a day and a half passed. Nefertiti was entrusted to old man Hardling the innkeep, as I promised him a gold coin to look after her and feed her all the raw fish and milk she wants. Nefertiti is our little princess cat after all, so she must be well taken care of. I also heard that the black cat with blue eyes became quite popular in the village. Somehow, Nefertiti liked the new treatment and became very haughty. She would sit on a shelf right next to the inn's door, and anyone goes in or out will get a pat on the head. She would say things like, "I bless you, child," or "I have already blessed you once, go away." Sigh. This cat. Feed her an ounce, and she will swallow your whole arm. I had to make her behave by putting her into dog tricks training course. I know how much she hates it. Anyway, 3 weeks passed just like that. I cleared Ygrim Overlook, which was a small, one-room Nordic ruin on the southern slope of the mountain range. This structure is slightly northeast of Forsaken Cave and south of Mount Anthor. The next place I cleared was Shrouded Grove. It is a grove with a cave located in the Phail. It is located due south of Silverdrift Lair and west of Nightgate Inn and was inhabited by a troll. It was a hard fight that I had to conjure a few frost atronachs to pin it down without harming it so much. I used Absorb Vitality on it and killed it slowly later. It was an easy fight due to the spices of the troll being a cave troll which was weaker than the mighty ice trolls I met this far. Still, after I dismantled it, I harvested its fur, eyes, liver, fat, claws, some blood, and most importantly the marrow. The marrow is the main ingredient of the troll's essence potion anyway. I should have got my astral damage condition some relief. Status. Name, John Dare. Race, human, Nord. Age, 15. Level, 18. Attributes. Health, 155/155. Stamina, 110/110. Magicka, 525/20. Active effects. Astral damage, 16%. I got rid of 3% of the astral damage and my level went up. Next dungeon I cleaned was Silverdrift Lair. It is a medium-sized Nordic ruin located east-southeast of Fort Dunstad and northwest of Nightgate Inn. The ruins were inhabited by Draugr. It took us some time as it was an annoying ruin and full of traps. Traps. Again. In that dungeon was a word wall too. It said, Brothi Wallin Kethsagal Keuli, Vurukt Odrov Kien Hael Wodrun, Pogs Zin Wa Brod Sakuostruna. Brody raised this stone in memory of his son Odrov Anvil ***, who brought much honor to Clan Red Mountain. It was the second word of disarm, shout, Hael, which means hand. The last dungeon we entered was called Ironbind Barrow. It is a Nordic ruin that serves as a tomb of a long-dead warlord. Its outer level was full of spiders, the big ones. Some were as tall as wolves or even horses. They were called frostbite spiders, and they looked very hideous. The inner lever was a crypt infested with undead and traps. Apparently, Skyrim has a thing for traps. The last boss was called Warlord Gathric, an undead Draugr that felt very powerful. Thankfully, the last strategy of a base like that worked splendidly fine and we got a lot of rewards. The last reward was another word wall. It said, Non volbron damasayan dar rot du fin fodizi bioarmony, los heavy du inuk mun walani voth akarian rk, zinle rok fame viodamayan kotenvolum. Noble Nords remember these words of the Whore Father. It is duty of each man to live with courage and honor lest he fade unremembered into darkness. Those 3 weeks I spent here were very fruitful. I had cleared dungeons no one had clears before and fought against all odds. I guess the best reward is the experience. It never cheats you. Now after gathering all the important things, and with my limit to summon atronachs has increased to 4, I loaded everything on them and said farewell to the Nightgate village. Now, to Windhelm. Bonus. Black small square is true motivated. The white Phail, it can refill any potion, right? Joel.
Yes.
John. So which potion are you going to choose? Joel. An important annoying to make a potion with hard to get ingredients. John. I was asking which potion, not what kind. Joel. John. Hey, don't look away. It is the troll's essence, right? Joel. John. Don't run away, you big pervert. Joel. Chapter 82, Windhelm. We took off in the morning. 5 flame Atronak horses carried everything we looted from the dungeons. Human. Yes. Sing a song. You are a very demanding cat. You know that. What does she want? Joel said. She wants me to sing for her. Sing for me too. Joel rode closer and was making kitty eyes. I can resist puppy eyes, but not kitty eyes. So destructive. I used to sing with Sviti when I was young, but now I can't sing like before. My voice changed for the worse ever since I reached the puberty age. Okay, let's pick a good song. System. Look for the lyrics of that song. Yes, now keep it on view. Him. Ladies, I present to you the mag. Sing already, they both said in unison. Okay. There lived a certain dragon in Skyrim long ago. It was big and strong. In his eyes a flaming glow. Most people looked at it with terror and with fear. But to dragon cults, it was such a lovely deer. It could turn any village to cinders, breathing flames and fear. But he also was the holy creature Nords would revere. Aljuin. World's eater dry and green. There was a cat that really was gone. Aljuin. Skyrim's biggest death machine. It was a shame how it carried on. This dragon's just gotta go, declared its enemies. But the cultists begged. Don't you try to do it, please. No doubt this Aljuin had lots of devotees. Though he was a brute, they just fell to their knees. Then one night some men of higher power set a trap. They're not to blame. Come to fight us, they kept demanding. And it really came. Aljuin. World eater dry and green. They shouted at him during his flight. Aljuin. Skyrim's biggest death machine. He fell down and said, I feel all right. Aljuin. World's eater dry and green. They didn't quit, they took out an elder scroll. Aljuin. Skyrim's biggest death machine. And so they send him in a time stroll. Oh, those Nords. I totally murdered, Rasputin song. You like it? Did you just turn one of the most argued about historical events into a song for your cat? Joel was giving me that look again. It was great, wasn't it? Sigh. Just leave me alone. The journey kept going, and I kept murdering more songs for Nefertiti. After a day, we reached Onga's Mill. Onga's Mill is a small wood mill built along the north bank of the river Ygrimme, west of Windhelm. The mill is owned by Eri, a Nord woman who inherited the sawmill from her father who died in the Great War. I made some agreement with her and paid her money to deliver lumber to Winterhold. We spent the night near the inn in our camp, then set out at the next morning. If we are lucky, we may reach Windhelm by sunset. The walls of Windhelm started to appear after a few hours of riding. Windhelm is a city in northeastern Skyrim, close to the border with Morrowind, and is the only substantial city in the hold of Eastmarch. It is not only the oldest city in Skyrim, but is the oldest continuously inhabited human settlement in Tamriel. Windhelm was once the capital of the First Empire of the Nords, and the old palace of the Ysgramor dynasty, the Palace of the Kings, still stands in the center of the city. Windhelm was founded by the legendary Ysgramor and the crew of his ship, the Ildrimet, following the Battle of the Mosring in the late Merethic era, the year before the First Era. According to Nordic tradition, after the 500 companions disbanded, the Ildrimet's crew stumbled upon the barrow of Ingol, Ysgramor's son. When Ysgramor looked south and saw where the White River flowed into the Sea of Ghosts, he decreed that a great city should be built there to serve as a monument to the glories of mankind, a place from where he could gaze upon the hill of Ingol's Barrow, and a gateway to guard Skyrim's interior against incursion via the river. Captive elves were forced to build the city in the architectural style of their captors, and it is alleged that as many elves died during Windhelm's construction as were killed by the Ildrimet's crew before they had arrived at the site. The city's Great Bridge was designed to allow a vigilant watch on the White River for elven attacks, and Ysgramor's palace, the Palace of the Kings, towered over the city to show man's dominion over the very winds that had caused Ingol's death on the voyage from Atmara. That was what I could recall about the city's history. It is not just a city. It is the stronghold of the human dominance over Skyrim. Of course, the city declined after the War of Succession when the last emperor of the Ysgramor dynasty died, which marked the end of the Nordic Empire. After that, Olaf One-Eyed became the king, and the capital city title started moving from a city to the other until it reached Solitude. Nowadays, lying near the coast on the very northern tip of Eastmarch, Windhelm is an extremely cold city and frequently experiences blizzards. The main gate can only be accessed by crossing a long stone bridge over the White River. The Jarl of Windhelm is Big Bad Ulfric Stormcloak, who resides in the Palace of the Kings. Windhelm is going to be home to the Stormcloak Rebellion, so most people in the city will support them in the Civil War. Due in part to this, anti-foreign sentiment is common in the city from the Nord majority. Due to Stormcloak presence, Windhelm does not comply with the imperial ban on Talos worship and features a Temple of Talos in the city. The temple and inn lie along the main avenue of Windhelm, in the Stone Quarter. The oldest section of the city is known as Valenstrad, which means Avenue of Valor in the Old Nord language, and contains the palace and several residential buildings. Because of its proximity to Morrowind, Windhelm also contains a sizable population of Dark Elves who sought refuge in Skyrim after the eruption of Red Mountain. The Dark Elves are confined to a cramped slum below the rest of Windhelm called the Grey Quarter, previously known as the Snow Quarter. The Dunmer are not violently persecuted, but the local Nords are suspicious and outwardly xenophobic, while Ulfric Stormcloak turns a blind eye to their plight. Argonians also populate Windhelm but are prohibited from entering the city itself and are forced to live and work on the docks. We finally reached the bridge of the city and joined a long line of people who wanted to enter the city. Previously, I banished the Atronak horses and carried the whole loot on my back. It wasn't something heavy for me, but I am sure it was around 250 kgs. During the wait in the line, some people gazed at Jellinar, who intentionally didn't hide her appearance. She was in the mood to make trouble. Jellinar, who is a half-Nord, half-Dunmer, may face double the prosecution from both races, but I would love to see anyone so much touches her. Having the thought dwelling through my head, my blood started boiling. For a second, the people around me flinched in fright and didn't look at my Joel anymore. Joel, who was used to my impulsive sways of mood, smiled at me and seemed to get faltered by my support for her. Lately, I have become able to release my killing intent and overpower people with it. It was the first stage of having an aura. One must release his overpowering bloodlust, then control it accordingly. It needed a strong concentration ability to not get consumed by the bloodlust and go all berserk. I think it may take me a month to get a hold of this ability. I also was talking with Joel about our future fighting style. Up until now, we were really focused on everything, but we needed to get specialized in a certain martial way. Joel was a great archer. She could take on Ela the Huntress with ease any day. Made appearance in Tourism in Whiterun chapter. She also wanted to mix magic with archery. I fully supported her in her quest and started developing a new way to imprint runes on the arrows while shooting them. Joel is going to be a magic archer. I think I will see some good results at the end of the journey. I still haven't made my decision about myself, as I am good at both combat and magic. But I think something like melee combat magician is something unheard of. Only spell blade practice the combat and magic separately. Oops, I spaced out. My turn has come. First visit. Pay a silver for yourself. 2 for her. The gate guard said. Because she is an elf? No problem. I can't argue with idiotic people anyway. What do you think you are doing? Do you know who are you scamming here? Another guard came out and scolded the guard. I can't see the face under the helmet, but he was clearly some of higher standing among the guards. Captain Raloff, I didn't know you were here. No, you were just pretending to be stupid, Raloff replied. This is the person who won the last tournament. Even the Jarl invited him to the city. Sorry, Captain. I had no idea. Of course you had no idea. I am scolding you for trying to scam people. Raloff turned at me and greeted. It has been a while, friend. We shook hands and did a cool, manly shoulder hug. Been a while indeed. Hope you are doing well, Raloff of Riverwood. You too, John of Rift Inn. It's Winterhold now. Why the change? I gained the Thainship of Winterhold few months ago. Thainship? And here I thought I became the captain of the gate would make me compete with you guys. Worry not. I am not doing much better anyway. I started a heated conversation with an old friend as he started guiding me beyond the gate. Do you still remember Ongium from the competition? Scarmouth? Yeah, I do. Did you hear anything about him lately? Yeah, I heard that he became a captain of some ship and works for a mage. He is also recruiting people in Candlehearth Hall, the city's biggest inn. I thanked Raloff for the information and asked for directions to the inn. As soon as I reached the main avenue, I found a big central building with an inn sign, much bigger than the game's version. The building was originally home to a great warrior named Windhelm from the early 4th era. When he died in 438, his son, Daracht, lit a candle above the hearth in his honor. Since that day, the candle still burns, and as such, the inn owes its name to this phenomenon. The inn is owned by Elda Earlydawn, a middle-aged Nord woman. Just as I entered the inn, a woman behind a counter greeted me. This here's Candlehearth Hall. Great rooms upstairs, and there's a bed for rent on the ground floor. Where I can find Ongium Scarmouth. Another recruit, huh? Captain Ongium is upstairs. I nodded and headed to the stairs. Boss. And as soon as I went up, he spotted me. Come sit over here, boss. Been a while, Ongium. Yes, boss. Winterhold lost half of its liveliness after you left. Oh, what happened? I asked as I sat down. The pirates we were waiting for started moving just after you left. Oh, horrible timing. It didn't end here. The old blacksmith died and left a lot of work to the amateurs. Oh, I neglected that possibility. Well, I didn't want to waste our funds on expensive college items, so I had an audience with Archmage Narina. She told me to go contact Sir Wulfer earlier than planned. Oh, did you bring Wulfer? Well done. We also came with the money you asked for. Good. I'll rest the night and go out to the docks tomorrow. What for, boss? Ship shopping. Ship shopping. Yeah, we'll buy ourselves new ships. Amazing. This will be of help in the future for both protection and trading. Anything else you want to report? Ah, yes. Ongium came closer and whispered. I met 2 Firemane ladies. One of them is probably the boss's teacher. You met Hilda? Yes, boss. She said she will be monitoring the situation and will only support us only if needed. That's good news. Grururu. That wad my stomach demanding for food. Strange. I started eating a lot lately. I don't know what is the cause of that, but my hunger started becoming very demanding lately. I will order dinner before I head to bed. Let's chat and eat together. Bonus. Black small squareback during the ride. Sing another song. Joel, can you dance while walking? John. Yes, what do you want me to do? Joel. I'll sing and you dance while walking. John. Okay, I am down now, sing. Joel. Ahem 1, 2, 3. Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you'll never ever leave from beside me. 'Cause I want ya, and I need ya, and I'm down for you always. John. Chapter 83, Ship Shopping. System. Contact the Augur. I was laying on the bed in Candlehearth Inn while thinking about something with a serious face. How can I help you? I want you to scan my body. What are we looking for? I don't know. Maybe a black hole in my stomach, or an exotic creature that eats all the food there. The Augur WRNE silent for a few seconds and then replied, You consume more food than usual. I will start a scan, but I guess the reason may be related to the current date as it is around the 22nd of mid-year, June. What are you saying? Is there something related to the date? It is not that big of a deal, but for some reason, your body is having some changes. It may annoy you, but you will feel hunger much faster than your usual normal condition, and the condition has a chance to remain this way until the next 6 months. My astral extension will add a widget for you to measure your hunger rate so you can adapt to a certain amount of foof every day from now on. Whoa. Hold on just a minute. You are making speculation based on what? What's wrong with me? The wrong? Completely the opposite. You are as healthy as a horse. And if not for your astral damage condition, you would have shown a strength higher than your league by leaps and bounds. The current hunger condition, however, is not an illness. I can make some guesses, but the most possible one is because you are still under 16 years of age, which is also the puberty age of young giants. They have the same symptoms of a strong hunger and a short temper only half a year before they reach their 16th year. What is this rude guy saying? Do I look like a giant to you? You don't, but your Firemane clan does. Wait a minute. You are saying that the Firemane people have the giant's blood lineage? Exactly. That explains why I and Cousin Jorna are not as tall as these freaks, but I thought their blood lineage had something to do with the fire resistance in my status, or something to do with taming. Giants are known to be the only race that can tame mammoths and grind their bones. Maybe your clan has 2 blood lineages. And speaking of which, my astral extension is already done with scanning your body. Please check your status. GUH. Fine. Status. Name, John Dare. Race, human, Nord. Age, 15. Level, 18. Attributes. Health, 155/155. Stamina, 110/110. Magicka, 525/20. Active effects. Astral damage, 16%. Hunger, 23%. Magic, plus mysticism, plus alterations, plus conjunction, plus destruction, plus illusion, plus restoration, times special powers. Play button racial, Nord. Play button standing stone, shadow stone. Blood lineage, Firemane awakening. Resi's fire, E. Plus Thursdayum. Save data. Plus Skyrim, plus crushed for enemies. Plus butchered, Burks. Plus cute for plus new folder. My hunger is already 23%. I was fully bloated just an hour ago. It is only natural. I will send you a list of the best-suited diet for you. Thanks. There is also the thing about the awakening word beside the blood lineage. Your guess is probably correct. That's only natural. What will it be like in the end? It depends on you. Maybe an interesting mutation may accidentally happen. Don't jinx it. Sigh. This is really annoying. I mean, a second puberty in the same body will sure make everyone laugh at me. Let's just think of something pleasant. What is the situation in the college? Some people in unusual clothing came to the college with a very talented girl lately. The girl received a lot of invitations from some teachers, but she declined them with no second thought. Her target seemed to be Senior Nerina. Maybe your adoptive mother is going to take a new disciple. Oh, so I am having a junior sister, huh? Is she cute? By normal standards, she is already as popular as you when you first arrived. Good. She is also asking around for a man called Darth Vader. Fuck. Why her? Do you perhaps know about the person she is talking about? Nope. Leave me alone. After we finished the conversation, the augur sent me my new diet plan. Why am I not surprised? The best way to put down the hunger is to eat mammoth meat. It is considered one of the most expensive kinds of meat in Skyrim, and it is very nutritious. I only ate it on very few occasions, and the last one was in the Blue Palace after the tournament. But I didn't like the idea of killing mammoths or sabercats. Those 2 cool creatures were considered extinct in my past life, so I somewhat think highly of them. And I haven't seen a living mammoth yet, not even once, but one day I will surely not just see one, but will also ride it. After resting with Joel, we decided that it was about time to eat dinner, and so I ordered a mammoth stew. Such an expensive order would grab a lot of attention in the inn's lobby, so we decided to eat in our room. Jellinger was charmed by the aroma of the stew, and I ordered some raw mammoth meat for Nefertiti. It was really something to look forward to. As we were about to start digging in, someone very rude knocked on the door of my room. Who is it? Boss, I am Murdiv. Oh. So they finished up selling the stuff already. Come in. Excuse me. As soon as he came in, he lagged on the delicious aroma of the stew. Ahem. Joel, who was glaring at him, cleared her throat. Oh, boss. Captain Angium sent me to tell you that all the loot was completely dealt with, and the coin was loaded on the ship. Here is this paper. It has everything written in details. Ongium's vice-captain handed me a paper. Thank you, you may leave now. Joel, however, was kicking him out. Yes, my lady. The young man made a respectful nod and left. I unrolled the paper and couldn't help but grin. This was some fortune. 2,000 gold septim. That was indeed something. Really? Look, most of the coins came from the exchanging of the ancient Nordic coins we found. Some gems fetched out a high price too. We became rich. We were already rich. Haha. Joel's mood already became better and started eating the mammoth stew with a wide smile. The next day was a very important day. Why? Because we are ship shopping. I woke up early, then dragged Joel and Ongium to the docks. There were a lot shipbuilders over there who worked for the East Empire Company. Making an order was simple. I talked with the chief carpenter, who was a bit stubborn and reluctant at first, but he was no match for my sketchbook. Once he saw the designs I have, the blood and soul of a craftsman that dwelled within him started burning, and asked for a copy of the ship's sketch I have, but he only had to agree and build me what I asked for. The reason for his refusal at first was due to my looks. Even though I am slaying it wherever I go, I still have the face of a 15-year-old brat. No one of those who doesn't know me would take me too seriously. There was another reason, and it was me requesting a ship with an imperial design from a Nordic craftsman. He was just too stubborn when he heard me at first, but when he checked out the design, he figured that it only took the imperial design as a base and the rest was something else. The ship was the normal wooden ship from my past life. It only had a higher deck than usual. The deck was not actually a deck. It was a roof that had 2 turrets, one in the front and one in the back. Turrets are not actually something known in this world, but I designed a turret and magic cannons that work on soul gems. The cannons shoot fireballs. In fact, they are actually staves, but I had a certain design in mind to lessen the magica consumption. Also, the turrets are really easy to spin and move around. The roof was not completely covering the actual deck as robes, and people could easily move through. Sails were also controllable by using spinners and ropes. One of the most important features was the ship's ram. The ram is a gigantic metal drill that is fixed in front of the ship between the keel and the forepeak. Keel, a long fixed fin at the bottom of the boat that aids in stabilization. Forepeak, a front protrusion of the ship used as a platform for crew operating sails on the bowsprit. Apart from that, I left the sail design for the shipbuilders. I don't have much experience in this area. The ship was a brig type, and I wanted to order 2 of it. The chief carpenter said that he can only start on only 1 right now, and will finish it by the next month. The price was argued about for a while, but I was satisfied from the start. Leaving the office of the chief carpenter, I had some plans in mind, so I took Joel and walked back to the city. While I was walking, I met a certain old friend that I haven't met for almost half a year. John Boy. Uncle Glover? Glover Mallory, Delvin's younger brother. He is one of the thieves I grew up in their care. He is a very crafty and smart thief, yet he is always quiet and likes to keep it to himself. He is also an expert blacksmith and one of the few who knew the technique of crafting and fixing bone mold armors. It has been a while, old man. Hee hee. Who are you calling old, you brat? Look at you. You smell like a lot of money now. Let me guess, that's some 1,000 gold, you dog. Haha, and you smell like a measly 100 gold. You sure still can sniff, right? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Who is that? Joel looked at Glover and asked. Oh, Joel, this is Glover. Glover, Joel. He is a senior of mine at my previous work, and she is my attendant. Attendant? You sure have a lot of money now. The last thing we heard about you was you magically becoming a Thane in Winterhold. How did you pull that one out? Hee hee. Just as you said, magically. Oh, that sure sounds like a grand tale, but it seems like I have to hear it another time. Why not? Come to the tavern and let's catch up. I am afraid my ship is going to sail in an hour. I found a new job outside Skyrim and I'll just move over there. Oh, so it's that thing then. Are you by any chance heading to Morrowind? Not exactly. Not the mainland at least. Solstheim? Yes. Did anyone bother you? No, I just can't stay around Riften anymore. I see. He was willing to go by all means. I also know the reason. After a fast catching up with him, We parted ways, and he went to the docks. What a poor soul. He must be feeling so much guilt. The story of Glover is not known to many players, but some may know it. He is not one of the NPCs that would leave a big impression, unlike his charismatic brother Delvin after all. In the game, he made an appearance in the DLC expansion, Dragonborn. Many years ago, Glover Mallory went on a job near some village, but an accident happened, and he had to hide in some barn. A woman found him and they fell in love. Blah, blah, blah. 1 year later, he found out that his wife is pregnant and chickened out. After that, he ran from the village and his wife, never to be seen again. Many years later, Bernijolf recruited a new member to the guild, and that was the daughter. Those who played the game knows her as Sapphire, a very annoying and grumpy girl. However, when Glover saw Sapphire, he recognized her and felt so much guilt. He could only do what a thief can do best. Run. Just like many years ago, he ran away again. Not from responsibility, but from guilt. Sigh. Life. Bonus. Black Small Square Don vs. John. Hey Big Don, give me some action chapter. John. Nope. Don. Side novel? John. Nope. Don. Bigger chapter. John. Nope. Don. You traitor. So the rumors are true. You are making a new novel of EMC with a badass background. Humph. Don grins while fixing the glasses with a finger. That's it. FUSRODH. John. Nice try, boy. Don presses backspace. Chapter 84. She is my aunt. The business with the shipbuilders was done by the next day. I paid 500 gold septim as half of the price up front. This ship will be the first sailing ship of its kind in this world. Mixing the ideas together took me a lot of time and studying, but I am sure it will work. I wanted to make a magical engine or something like the Dwemer machinery technology, but I think this is still too advanced for me to apply. The idea of having a power source like a magical battery is still hard to apply. Anyway, my business here was not over yet. I wanted to make some arrangements taking the chance I am here. First, I went back to the main avenue and looked for any beggars. As soon as I found one, I paid them for some information about the city. Beggars in Riften are a top-notch information network if you could withstand the smell for a few minutes, and the same goes for the beggars of anywhere else. In this world, there is an old tale about the beggar prince. It's said that long time ago in Valewood, the home of the Bossmare aka Wood Elves, there was a prince who was the 13th between his siblings. He had no influence, neither did he possess a talent to make him stand out that made him decide to leave his home and venture for fortune on his own. During his travel, he saw a beggar being bullied by people. He saved the beggar, who eventually turned out to be Namara, the Lady of Decay, and the Daedric Prince of Rot and Disease. After knowing that, the prince saw opportunity for himself. He begged Namara for 33 days and 33 nights to take him as an apprentice. Finally, Namara accepted and decided to reward him for his strong will. She said, I grant you the power of disease. You may choose to be afflicted with any disease you choose, changing them at will, so long as it has visible symptoms. However, you must always bear at least one. And I grant you the power of pity. You may evoke pity in anyone that sees you. Finally, I grant you the power of disregard. You may cause others to disregard your presence. The prince was horrified by these terrible gifts, but Namara said, As you begged at my feet for 33 days and 33 nights, so shall you now beg for your fortune in the cities of men. Your name will become legendary among the beggars of Tamriel. And as Namara predicted, the prince became an irresistible beggar. None could see him without desperately wanting to toss a coin at the huddled form. However, the prince also discovered that the power of disregard gave great access to the secrets of the realms. People unknowingly said important things where he could hear them. He grew to know the comings and goings of every citizen in the city. Now, the point of the story is, want to know anything? Just go and ask a beggar. That is why I paid for a beggar and promised more if he can bring me all the information I needed. What I needed was the movements of the undercurrents in Windhelm. I was curious about the movements of Ulfric Stormcloak and the war he was about to start. As an individual who knows the future, I want to know if my existence and the action I took so far may not change or influence the future. I want to change the future, but not anytime soon. The reason is simple. If I lose track of the future, I know by changing the events too much, I may cause problems I have no idea how to solve. For example, the changes in Winterhold are obviously something that did not happen in the game. I even killed Sibby Blackbriar, who appeared in the game to prevent any harm he may cause to Wulfer and Sviti. Same goes for how I encouraged John Battleborn to become a bard and get proposed to Alfina Greymane before anything happened between their families. This may not seem anything harmful, but the changes in Winterhold may cause the people to distance themselves from the Civil War. Also, the problem between me and Sibby may weaken the power of Maven Blackbriar, as I heard she was being targeted by the Firemane clan lately, which eventually may cause more bad luck to the Thieves Guild, and will also worsen Maven's situation as an Imperial operative in Rift Inn. And finally, if Clan Battleborn and Clan Greymane were to tie their friendship by marriage, then it will be unlikely for them to choose different sides in the Civil War. None of that is bad at all, but I don't want the future to change. Not because I want a civil war or a dragon break to occur. I know that they will happen sooner or later, so I prefer them on a certain chain of events I can predict it or even use to my favor. The augur told me few interesting things about fate and how people can predict it by prophecies and change the fate by going against these prophecies. My knowledge is considered a prophecy of sort, so I can try to use it into my favor or change some of it, but I should watch out for the consequences and the changes of fate. That is why I am investigating the movements in Windhelm. The news I got from the beggars were not good or bad, but they told me that a number of envoys from and to the other holds have been seen more frequently as of late, but the city still has its Imperial Legion soldiers. The Temple of Talos is running all day with no signs of pressure from the Legion, and the East Empire Company is also working smoothly. To distribute these waters, it needed a lot of time from now on, and it is Ulfric's job, so I don't care. Now, as I was done with my little investigation, I walked with Joel to the marketplace arm in arm. Apparently, a Nord and a girl with the features of a dark elf walking together and carrying their treasured cat would attract a lot of hateful gazes of both Nords and dark elves. Luckily, my killing intent always scare people away. Joel was having fun, and I don't want any unhealthy atmosphere to form around her. This market walk was our first, and there is no way I would let anything to ruin my girl's good mood. Speaking of which, her mood was rather strange. Unlike her Tsundere Day mode and Yandere Night mode, she was making a cute childish face whenever we pass on a stall and she sees something she likes, even though she was worried about Windhelm just the other day. I bought some dresses for her, as well as some gifts for Nurina, Loneth, and teacher Faralda. Alishka also requested that I spread the news about the bathhouse in Windhelm's market, so I found a notice board and paid for a large-sized employment advertisement. My last destination in the market was the alchemist's shop. It is the shop that I requested the mixture that unlocked the treasure room of Forsaken Crypt, where I acquired the White Phail from. Funny thing is, the shop was also called the White Phail. It was owned by an elderly, Altmare, high elf master alchemist known as Nurelian. Even though he was a very knowledgeable person, he was another annoying old high elf. In the game, when he gives the quest of recovering the White Phail and the players return to him with the broken phial, he gets upset and only pay 5 septims for the phial. After a deadly quest, he only pays 5. I didn't like the guy, even though his skill was the real deal. The one I was here for was not Nurelian, but his apprentice, Quintus Navale, a very friendly Imperial guy with good manners. After the player gets paid the 5 septims of Nurelian, Quintus pays the player the rest and apologizes for his master's short temper. I pushed the store's door open and walked inside. Just as I took a breath, a strong mix of herbal scents assaulted my nose. It was somehow pleasant. "Welcome to the White Phail. May I interest you in some of our potions and ingredients? Or you are here to make a request?" A young man that is apparently the same age as I was standing behind the counter and welcoming us. "I am here to make a request for a ship and for my journey." Just as I said that, the boy's eyes lit up. He knew I am making a big request. "By all means, sir. My master is not here, but I will take your request right away. I am Quintus Navale." John Dare? John Dare? The John Dare? Am I known in these parts? Known? You are the man who sent Jarl Ulfric back from the tournament empty-handed. You are not just known. Is it true that you have beaten a whole team single-handedly and won a free-for-all match against more than 25 opponents? Whoa, whoa, the people here know about me to this details? No, it is just me and few others, haha. You see, we have a very famous arena called the Pits and I am a regular there, so it happened that I heard about everything. I really regret not attending the tournament this year. Hee, what a guy. After fanboying around me for a while, we started talking business. To think you are from the esteemed college, we are honored to make business with you. Thank you. Here is my list, and here is the ship's list. Healing, stamina, regeneration, purifying, acids, and perfumes. I think all of them can be handled even by me. I have some in stock, but if I start working now, I'll finish everything by tonight. When can you pick them up? I am staying in the inn, so I can come anytime you want. Oh, the inn? Fine. I am coming to drink tonight. I'll bring the orders myself then. Fine. Then tonight drinks on me. Haha. Thank you. It was a short conversation, but I think I made a new alchemist friend. After leaving the shop, I took Jill around and continued the shopping like a couple till sun started to go down. After that, we became tired and hungry, so we decided it's about time to head back for the inn. In the inn, Joel changed to a lovely dress I bought her, and we went to sit in the inn's hall. We were drinking and talking with Angium and the crew members. An hour passed, and Quintus Navale came with 2 hired carriers behind him. Sir John, I brought the order. Oh, thank you. Please join us. Angium, take care of the crates. Quintus sat, and we continued the conversation from the store. Then we talked about alchemy, enchanting, and magic. After that, we started talking about the Pits. The Pits is Windhelm's arena, one of the most brutal arenas in Skyrim. It has a prisoners fighting tournaments and death matches. Even killing the opponent was not considered going overboard. The next set of matches will be the day after tomorrow. It will be heated as ever. You must come. I promise you won't regret it. I will for sure, my friend. No, I want to talk with you about an important matter. By all means, go ahead. You see, part of my objective in this visit to Windhelm is to meet with the assistance of Master Nerelian. With me? Quintus became surprised. Yes and no. I didn't know who you are at first, but I just had an important business with your master. But I am afraid something may go very wrong. Quintus was surprised, but he managed to calm down. Fine, my friend. I am listening. You see, just like your master, I am also obsessed with the white Phail. Now hold it right there. If you are trying to befriend me and say you want to help my master and want to take a look about his research, I'm afraid you came to the wrong person. No, nothing like that. Then, I researched the historical records about the white Phail and discovered its location. What? Are you saying the truth? Yes, but that's impossible. My master has spent most of his life looking for it, and you just said you who is not older than me just found its location? I was lucky, and as a mage in Winterhold, I have access to historical records even your master can't acquire. That is not very good for master. He will be shocked. I know, he is an old person and he will get affected by disappointment really hard. I found out after I learned how much is he obsessed with the Phail, but that's not even the end of the story yet. There is more? Yes, I am an adventurer and to me, such a clue is something irresistible. I went to the crypt where the Phail was kept and recovered it. Impossible. Quintus stood up suddenly with a serious face. Shush. People will notice. Sorry. He sat then whispered, Did you really find it? Yes, it is in this wooden box. I was intending to share the discovery with your master and study it together with him, but when I found the Phail, a tragedy struck. I opened the box and showed the Phail to Quintus. He was amazed and in awe, but when he saw the crack, his expressions turned as if he saw horror. Why, you broke it. No, I didn't. I actually incapable of even scratching it. The Phail is made of the first ice that fell on the throat of the world, and it is mostly indestructible unless? Unless you are its creator. Are you saying? Yes, the creator was the one to break it. Regardless of the purpose, we must fix it. And your master can't know of its existence or the truth that it is broken. You are right. If master knows, he may drop dead. But how will we fix it? As I told you before, I was lucky to find its location in an old book, but I don't know as much as your master know. I get what you're trying to say. I'll start investigating right away. The items we need are a forsworn briarheart, a powdered mammoth tusk, and finally a snow from the throat of the world. I get it. A briarheart and powdered mammoth tusk are easy to be acquired, but the throat of the world is a different story. Leave the snow to me. It will take me a while, but I will bring it. Your role is to investigate how it can be repaired. After this conversion, we talked about the repairing, and we made a few plans. We also spent some time talking about this, and that until midnight, then he took his leave. The inn hall was not still empty, as a lovely dark elf bard was singing in a beautiful voice. Hey, sing us something fun, I said as I gave the bard a coin. She saw a silver coin and became all smiles. She started singing a sailor's song that was pretty popular. Some couples couldn't resist and started to dance together. Just as Juliner saw that, his eyes became all sparkles and looked at me. She really wanted to dance. I guess we haven't did that together before. I didn't let her down and took her by the hand to the middle of the hall and started dancing. It was just like hopping up and down and going with the song. No one in Skyrim was strange to that. Few minutes later, the song ended, and the people started praising the bard lady. That was some song, huh? Luafin may be a Dunmare, but she is the best bard in town. A girl said. True. Someone replied to her. The people were in harmonious mood after the song ended, but someone was in a state of shock. Luafin. It was Juliner. She looked at the bard lady with shocked eyes, and she appeared to be in an emotional storm. Something wrong? Juliner looked at me as if she was about to scream. She approached me and whispered to my ears. This woman, Luafin, she is my blood relative. She is my aunt. Chapter 85, The Pit, Juliner's Aunt? I couldn't help but to look at Luafin one more time. It was hard to make a match between Jul and her due to the racial difference, as Jul was a half-human, half-dark elf. But if Jul said so, then it is the truth. Is there any problem with her? We can leave the inn and go anywhere else if you are uncomfortable. Jul looked at me with a pained expression. There is no ties between me and her. It is just she may know the bastard who assaulted my mother. Jul said what she has in heart. I understand. Let's wait until the people go away to bed and we will have a talk with her. Jul, who was in a bad mood, was not really in the right mindset, so I took her to our room and tried to calm her down. Sometime later, the inn outside had no movement and it seemed like everyone are in bed. Let's move then. I casted scan and pinpointed where Luafin is. After that, we sneaked out of our room to hers. As we entered Luafin's room, she appeared to be sleeping. Jul closed the door as I started to cast muffle around the room. Now, even if a dragon break happened in this room, no one will hear anything. I finished the spell and gave Jul the green light nod. She now can do whatever she wants. Jul walked to the bed, looked at Luafin's face, then climbed on the bed. She unsheathed her dagger, then sat with all her weight on Luafin's chest. Guh, Azura, what th, get of him. Pa, Aya. Jul slapped Luafin. It was a splendid slap. This is because you betrayed my mother. Pa, Aya, you. This is because you made her cry every night. Please stop. Someone. Don't worry, not a single soul can hear you here, even if you screamed your lungs out. Just who are you people? Don't recognize me? I am so offended, dear auntie. Ma, maybe? It can't be. Pa, so you remember me. Long time no see. It has been more than 10 bloody years. Maybe. Please, stop. Get her of me. Sorry about that. No, I feel very comfortable up here. Pa, please, I beg you. Luafin started crying. Hee. Yes, please beg me more. The more you beg, the more I get tempted to carve your face out with this knife. Please stop, Marifin Wowell. Pa, don't you ever say her name with your dirty mouth ever again, you whore. I'll cut your tongue out. No, oh boy, this is bad. Joel lost her shit. Wait. Let's not cut it right now. I had to pull Joel from Luafin before she does anything stupid. Let me. I'll kill that bitch. Let me do it. Calm down. Easy. We still need to know many things from her. I started whispering to Joel, trying to calm her down. Joel calmed down a tad, but she was glaring daggers at the crying timidly Luafin. She was clearly very angry at her. From what I could understand and what Joel told me before, her mother had a sister and they were pretty close. They both became bards and worked together at Windhelm's taverns. After the incident with Joel's mother and her decision to keep the child, a lot of Dunmer turned their backs on her. That was normally and to be expected, but the one thing that wasn't expected was Luafin abandoning her sister Marifin. Marifin was shocked. The only person she was planning to depend on abandoned her easily, just like anyone else. They grew up together and learned the art together, yet being abandoned by the most trusted person sure left a bitter feeling. Marifin felt betrayed and thought it was about time to leave Windhelm. She kept going with her 4-year-old Mabia until her death in Falkreath. Mabia, who later became my Jellinar, has suffered a lot through her life and nearly lost her sanity until she fell in my hands. And now, this was to be a warm reunion between blood kin, somewhat turned into a raging storm that could be seen happening right in front of me. Okay, you need to calm down for a bit. And you better answer my questions, or I will let her do whatever she wants with you. Luafin, who was sobbing and holding her swollen face, nodding while crying. It is pretty simple. Who was the one who assaulted your sister 16 years ago? Huh. Yo, you want to know that? But he is dangerous. Really now? Are your head full of fart? I am dangerous too. I closed in on Luafin and evoked lightning magic. My hands started making electric cracking sounds and Luafin started crying. Please sob, I'll tell. Acting like a hooligan always gets shit done. From what Luafin said, the man seemed to be a known brute in the arena. His name is Iron Fist or something. Well, if he is in the arena, killing him will be a piece of cake. Can we kill her now? Joel was all out for blood. I raised my hand to stop her before she do anything rash. I still had one last question. Why did you betray your sister? Luafin, who looked haggard and beaten up, looked at me with wide eyes, then her expressions crumbled and clenched on her teeth. Betray? Why would I? I would never do such a thing. Huh. I was the one who got betrayed. Did you think I just abandoned my sister because she had a child with a Nord? Did you? To be honest, yes. I gave my everything to him, and yet he went behind my back to her and I knew about it. Even when she refused him time after time, he got drunk and then raped her. He was just using me to get to her. Everyone wanted Marifin. She had the beauty, she had the body, she had the voice. She could write songs I could not. She could do everything right. And I always thought she needed me, and she can't be successful without me. Then she abandoned all that for a child. She didn't want to sing again. She gave up on everything because of a damn child. What else could I do? I was meant to sing. I was meant to play music, but without her, I found out I was nothing special. You hear me? Nothing special. It was always her. She could have done it all, but she abandoned all the glory and the money for a damn Cheel Gup. Well, my ears are ringing. She was so loud that I had to punch her to oblivion. I didn't see that coming at all. Women truly are complicated. Luafin, who appeared in the game, was an NPC with no features or background. Also, there is that thing about the Dark Elves and how they are emotional and rational as hell. Anyway, none of that matters now. I looked at Joel as I was really worried about her, but she was totally expressionless. Say, John. A person like that? How am I supposed to punish her? Her tone was normal, and her expressions were very cold. I guess you only need to think of a way yourself, I said. Sigh. You are not helping. She said. Actually, I do. Whatever choice you make, I will completely support it. I said. So you are giving me a choice now? Hee hee. Well, yeah, just this once. I normally order her around and tell her what to do and what not to do, but I guess this time this will help her mentally if she took the right choice. Killing her won't do. Joel said, she is a miserable person. Letting her live is the best way to torment her. Ho ho. Interesting. She came to me and sank in my embrace. Let's heal her and leave her be. She then added with a smile. I am proud of you. Hee hee. I know. Let's go to our room, I said as I took Joel away by the hand. Next morning, Luafin reported that she was ill and caved in her room all the morning. I took Joel and her and went out to tour the city like couples again. I guess we are a couple now. Honestly, I cherish her very much even though we set our relationship as master and subject, but I don't mind her getting closer than that at all. Yes, there will be boundaries, but I can take her as my second wife if I ever got married. Anyway, this time in the city, we didn't go to the market. We directly went to the pit, as we had an investigation to do. The man that was called something like Iron Fist or whatever is our target to kill. As we walked into the area that was between the Grey Quarter slums and the Docks Gate, the number of thugs increased, and it looked like some place I am familiar with. Anyway, emitting a bloodlust in these situations is surely a way to clear the road effortlessly even though it costed some magicka. After we reached a certain building, I started asking around until I knew what to do. Looking around for a man called Benkum, I found him in a place that can actually be described as a pit. You are Benkum? Hello. Interested in fighting in the pit? The rules are strict, but if I don't see it, it didn't happen. Know what I mean? Know what you mean. Is there a chance to fight as a pair? You and that girl? Yes. Fine. Pay the fee and tell me when you are ready to fight. I was planning to do just that. Is there a chance to fight tomorrow? Nah. Tomorrow is just for the big fights and challenges. Well, unless you show me something good today. Fine. We will fight. We were already in our gear, so let's not waste any time. After some time, me and Joel went in the arena. It was an area under the level of the ground with many cage doors around the place. The walls were gray, the same was as all the structure in Windhelm, and it was annoyingly not vast. Now everyone, we have a new blood. A fellow with the name of Darth Vader being followed by a girl are here to prove their worth in the pits. Mind if we begin with the usual? The usual? Just as he said that, one cage door opened and from the darkness within, something emerged. A wolf. No, 2 wolves. How annoying. Now, let the fight begin. First it was 2 wolves, then a death prisoner, then some other new blood, then another prisoner. We won swiftly and with ease, even though I and Joel were using spears to hide per true skill. Nothing in the usual day fights was anything interesting. After the 4th match, I noticed that some crowd began to gather. So Benkum, are we fighting tomorrow? You can only issue a challenge in the end, but tell me beforehand so I can make everything smooth. I guess I understand him. I took out some silver septims and gave them to him. Mind if you tell me about a fellow with the name of Iron Fist? Iron Fist? You want to fight him? Something wrong? No, but normally people would pick a fight against the strong ones or the weak ones. The ones in the middle are not that interesting. So I can fight him tomorrow or not? Yes, you can. Fine, make it happen. Chapter 86, The Challenge. Wolfer's POV. Winterhold is the coldest place in the world. No argue about that. We Nords don't mind cold. No argue about that. Then why? Just why is this forge so damn hard to fire? I only arrived here a week ago and I am supposed to be John's chief blacksmith, but things are not all butterflies and unicorns as he used to say. Starting a fire in this town is tough. A blacksmith needs to have a good source of air, but with the wind in this town, I am facing a challenge after a challenge. John suggested something long ago like applying a magical rune to keep the forge hot and running, but I am normally used to adding fire salts to the forge and Riften with the techniques I learned from old Balamund, so it served me good up until now even in solitude with its cold sea air. Yet, I am hating this town non-stop since I came. I only arrived here after Ongium Scarmouth, paid me a visit with a request for a capable blacksmith to keep the sailors and John's guards all geared up against the pirates. When he came, he had a letter for me that came from the headmistress, or who should I call Archwizard Nerina now. It was the same shopping list she sends to John. Now I learned the feeling of how hard it is to deal with such an irresponsible person as Nerina. Before I leave, I was a bit worried for Sviti and Bjorna. Sviti seemed to be having fun lately, but Bjorna on the other hand was having trouble with eating lately. Anyway, after having a trip, my life was changing super fast. The first day I arrived here, I had to deliver everything to Nerina and deal with her nagging about her new student. Apparently a girl called Alina with some background was forced on her to be her apprentice by the archmage of the college, and that girl issued a challenge against John for the title of Nerina's legacy apprentice. Not that I care. John can do magic since he was 5. Why would she bother to begin with? The second day I started working on the forge, and I got a nice house from John's properties. Seemed to me like he is the Jarl of this place now. Everyone is worshipping his name. The third day, the wind became violent and the work stopped. I paid a visit to Jonald the Drumpf, the best wall builder in town, to build me a windbreaker around the forge. And he appears again. All hail. The fourth day, I discovered that one of the bathhouse girls in Solitude became the bathhouse mistress in Winterhold and works under John. When I went to the bathhouse, I received a very good treatment and all. This John, he is an expert in luxury as usual. The fifth day, we woke up at dawn by the town's alarm. On the sea, a pirate ship was sailing very close to the docks. The pirate's flag was red with 3 cuts. This is the banner of the Bloodhorkers. Trudvar, John's housecarl, took some men and fortified the slope with crossbows the whole day. The sixth day, the pirates left and it appeared to be a provocation. Maybe they were trying to scout the situation and saw it will be hard to attack. I suggested that we increase our preparation as I suspect that the next time they come, the pirates will also be more prepared. The seventh day, this morning, something weird happened. Trudvar came to me saying that he caught a thief trying to steal from my workshop, but they heard a scream and because of it, they found the thief. Aside from the thief, the scream came from the screaming chest. An old trick that Brynjolf taught me. It is about attaching a whistle to a small mechanism in the chest. Once it gets opened forcefully, it makes the whistle produce some movement in the inside of the whistle and it starts screaming. This was how the thief got caught. After catching the rascal, he was locked in some hole under the bathhouse. It seemed that John had anticipated something like that and prepared something for questioning the thieves. The thief was beaten up until the morning. After he talked, we found out that he was after my tools in the workshop. After further investigation, it appeared that he works for the pirates. This cowardly move of his was to gain merits and stall our work process. I haven't seen the big picture that big before, but it seems that this is how fights happen in large groups. I am sure now, a big fight is upon us, and until the day John finishes his training, we are to defend this ground. Julliner's POV. Luafin. I met her after all these years. I slapped her to my heart content. I always wanted to kill her, but he showed me how much of a pity woman she is. If I killed her, how can she be tormented more and more? Her life itself was enough as a punishment. Pure Dumere are mostly selfish and self-centered, so she won't kill herself. After we left her room, I wanted to grab my gear and go murder Oblivion out of that man, but he pulled me and told me not to go. He said, "You think you can handle him alone?" I said, "I want revenge for my mother. At least give me that choice." He smiled. He was amused. He grabbed my neck and pulled me closer. I heard his voice whisper in my ears. His words made me obey. I can't go against him. He said I am his woman. He said he can't let me do this alone. He said we are meant to kill together. Yes. How could I forget? I am sorry. Please, John, kill him with me. That's my girl. He said it. It made me happy. How can I ever disobey him? How can I ever say no to him? He is my precious, my love, my God. The next day, he took me to the arena and we arranged a challenge against that hateful person. I was a bit rude to John, but just as the sun went down, I apologized for my rudeness. Next morning, we are having Mother's revenge. I just hope that next morning, I don't act rudely towards him. God damn it. Why do I always wake up naked and in his embrace? Him. Of all people. I can't believe it. What was I thinking last night? I know he doesn't do anything to me, but this has to stop. You're awake? Yes, let's keep sleeping for a bit. He took his arm around me and pulled me beside him again. Hey, mind where you touch. Really? I didn't grab anything soft, so no harm, right? This. How can he bully me like that? Sniff. Let me go, you idiot. Ha ha ha. Why is he laughing? I could barely escape from him after that. He looked somehow tired, though. Come to think of it, his temperature was a bit off now. He may catch cold this way. I think he used to keep some medicine for that in the potion bag. Where is it? Where is it? Aha, here it is. He already started waking up. Hey, take that. That? Okay. He took the medicine right away. Thank goodness. Now I'll go low. Hey, Joel. Thank you. Wah. What is he saying? Why is he smiling like that? See, choke on it, idiot. I wasn't worried about you or anything. Gah. He is making me angry again. I can't take it anymore. Jean's POV. Joel was full-on tsundere mode this morning. I don't know what got into her, but I guess it has to do with everything going on lately. Anyway, she gave me some medicine this morning and looked super cute when I teased her after it. Well, let's get this day started. Angium came to see me and said he was going to set sail. It will take him 5 days to get back to Wimberhold. The last thing I had to do in this city is the challenge we have tonight. We made it look like 2 amateur fighters are looking big and trying to challenge a senior. After a fast breakfast, we went back to the pit. The place was crowded, but we found a spot with the fans around the pit. Benkham, the arena manager, was all smiles as it seemed today was a big day for him, and he wanted to make lots and lots of money. He started his usual game manager speech saying that the matches will be held as scheduled with a little bit of extra as some new blood will be challenging the veteran fighters. Everyone laughed at the idiots who got themselves into trouble fighting the veterans. Everywhere, those kinds of idiots existed, but they had no fighting future as veterans tend to break greenhorns badly. But that is in normal cases. Anyway, the matches started and I was bored as hell. Slow, brutish, and had no style. Sometime later, the matches started to get more heated and the contenders were fighting all out. I noticed some brute fighting bare-handed against weapon users. He was not exactly bare-handed as he is using metal vambracers and metal gauntlet. Hey look, Iron Fist is going all out today. Yeah, energetic as usual. I guess so too. So that is him. He looked like some puffed-up guy with a shaved head and no facial hair. He used some skillful punching techniques and looked capable. He was fighting a death prisoner, so he didn't hold back. Even when the opponent got all beaten up and his blood splashed around, Iron Fist just laughed and licked the blood on his face. Yep, he's an $1 hole. The matches kept going until we reached the end. For some reason, Jelliner, who was full of anticipation, is now absent-minded. And now, for the final challenge. The new blood, Darth Vader, and his partner Under the Hood have issued a challenge against Iron Fist. Ha, this is bad. By the 9, someone is challenging him? Mobs started saying what mobs say. I was getting myself to the stairs to get in the pit. After the wait, I was standing with Joel in the pier against the man. He was tall and bulky with a closer look. Not that it matters anyway. Listen, kiddo, let's make it fast. I don't know who fooled you to challenge me, but I don't want to send you to your graves. We fight for a minute, then you will take 1 hit, and don't get up. It will look good, be you. Whatever. I replied nonchalantly. If we can't beat you in the first minute, then it's all to waste anyway. So you are going for it, huh? Fight. I was in no mood to talk with a dead man any further. I had a spear in my hand, and with it I rushed at him. As he saw me approaching, as he thought about grabbing the spear or breaking us from his point of view, I was slow. Just as I got close enough to the point he is in my reach, I increased my speed in a blink and sticked the spearhead in the ground. With it like that, I used it to perform a high jump, and in a blink of second, I was over his head. The shock on his face was visible as I was flying over him. He tried to raise his hand and grab the nearest part of me, but he completely forgot something. Jelena just rushed a second later after me and was stabbing with her spear at him. She was still expressionless, but her stab was fierce. The man realized the danger and barely could jump to dodge the incoming attack. Even though her attack missed, Joel's movements were sharp and agile. She was clearly in the zone. I closed in again and kept putting the man in a bad spot after the other. After 3 minutes, we have finished dismantling him. He was on one knee, barely able to stand. His body was full of cuts and purses. "Yo, you bastard. We are just getting started," I declared out, making a smug face. "I'll get you, brat." "No, you won't," Jelena replied at him. "Move." He was about to stand up, but I kicked him to remain on the ground once again. Joel removed her hood and looked at him. He also looked at her. The people around the arena gasped. They didn't think the girl who always hit her head with a hood would be an elf. And from what they made out, she was a half-Dunmer. Iron Fist was shocked. From his eyes I could see a deep shock. "So it was you?" he said. Jelena's look was cold and indifferent, but she replied to him. "It is good that you realized who am I. Now, let's get to business." Chapter 87, Troublemaking. Jean's POV. The fight kept going. We didn't give Iron Fist a chance to take a breath and kept toying with him left and right. I normally left all the attacks for Jelena, but when he noticed that I am only feinting my strikes, he ignored me and tried to target her. Well, that was not hard. I only had to stab his legs few times anyway. Compared to him, we were much faster. He had no way of stopping us with his brute strength. Of course, I can put up a show against him if it came to brute strength, but Joel can't, so I gave him the illusion that he can come after both of us as long as he tries. Of course he couldn't. Jelena was frantic in her strikes, and he started to fear her attacks. I know he recognized her since the time she removed her hood, and he knew she is after his head. The people stopped cheering long ago as they sensed the immense degree of hostility in the match. Most of them already guessed this was a death match. Binkham, the arena manager, was already trying to move his men to stop the match before Iron Fist gets killed. Apparently, a moneymaker like Iron Fist was important to him, and getting him killed will cause him a big loss. Also, being fooled by me sure left a bad taste in his mouth. Now, I am not sure if we can get out of the arena the peaceful way. "Let's just hurry up and kill the scum," I said to Joel, who was stabbing at him non-stop. He looked like a bloody rag from how much stabs he suffered. It has been long since he switched from offense to complete defense. He took most of the blows by his vambracers without one counterattack. His moves started to be slower but was still steady. I thought he became tired, but I caught a glimpse of his eyes, shining brightly as he was looking at Jelena. He had a vulgar smile behind his guard. Chills ran in my spine as I thought he might do something, and certainly he was about to. Joel approached him and was trying to get another sure stab at him, but he launched a punch at her lightning speed. "This is dangerous. Watch out." I threw the spear in my hand away and grabbed what I could reach from her, then pulled her back as fast as I could. His punch missed, but he saw the opportunity and switched targets at me. His punch was speeding towards me, but my reflexes were ready, and I kicked his knee, stopping his advance before he reaches me. He was also an experienced fighter, so this kick wasn't enough to make him stop or retreat, but instead of punching, he tried grabbing me and mostly succeeded. From the beginning, I was in a tight spot after pulling Joel and using a leg to kick. If I was him, I would have targeted the leg I am standing on, but he hugged directly at me and performed the ribs-crushing technique, the bear hug. "Ha ha ha. Girl, throw your weapon or I will crush the insides of this guy." He spoke like the hooligan he is and was truly trying to crush my ribs. Joel was glaring at him and calculating where to strike next. "Hey, don't ignore me." I managed to free my left arm and evoked sparks on it. Just as Iron Fist saw magic on my hand, his face changed color and tried to evade, but he was at 0 distance from me. I put my palm on his head and casted the lightning sparks. I felt the electricity tickling me through him as we were stuck to each other. The feeling started to get unpleasant as he refused to let go of me. Just as he couldn't take it anymore, he let go of me and retreated hastily. My sides were hurting a bit, but nothing serious. Not even a purse will be left. The match already was no more when I started using magic. Bankum signaled the other fighters to go to the pit and drag us out. Okay, this has to end. Iron Fist, on the other hand, was furious and looked at me hatefully. You fucker. I will kill you. Then I will break her legs and sell her in a whorehouse. Okay, I will just kill you myself then. Joel, leave the killing to me. We are running out of time. Fine. I don't care. I evoked Thunder Cookie in both my right and left. This spell is an expert spell but has no range or accuracy, so its magic's cost was very low compared to the damage it deals. After getting ready, I put on a serious face and shouted at him. Come at me. Iron Fist roared and charged at me, giving his best punch. He was sure that if he couldn't overpower with his strength, he and the other fighter will overpower me with numbers. To the punch he threw with his right, I also punched the Thunder Cookie in my right. Kaboom! The outcome was simple. Not even Iron Fist, with his fame in throwing punches, can take the half-assed Thunder Cookie. Not even the immortal Iron Fist himself, I tell you. Thunder Cookie tend to make a thunderclap every time it strikes. The strike was enough to deafen the entire pit. Iron Fist looked at his arm to see that everything has turned to a scenario he couldn't predict. His arm was missing. Behind him was a trail of bone and flesh fragments all over the place. Error. Goofu. He was about to start wailing from the pain, but I granted him the other Thunder Cookie in my left. It carried him in the air and broke him into two destroyed halves. It was splendid no matter how I think about it. I turned to Joel and tried to check on her, but she was absent-minded for some reason. Joel. Yes. We are about to go through those brutes. You okay? Yes. It is just thank you. You welcome. Conjure a frost Atronak and hide behind it. She nodded and started casting. You are not getting out of here. The man you killed is worth 100 gold. Pay up. Bankum, the arena manager, was huffing and buffing at me between his men. Hee. Let's see if you can stop me. I have already finished up conjuring 4 frost Atronachs. It may be no match for this number of fighters, but I am going to escape anyway. Now. I gave a command and Jelliner followed. Stop them. The fighters lined up to block the way, but that's not the trick. Fuck off. I performed a battle cry just a second before the clash. The result was devastating. We passed like a hot knife through butter. I had no plan anyway, but it will work until we reach Candlehearth Hall. From there, we will take Nefertiti and escape town before the guards notice. Ralof's POV. We received a report that someone caused a big ruckus in the pit. I don't like the place to begin with, but when I went to check, I saw men as big as walls collapsing on the ground and weeping. From what I could understand, someone shouted a battle cry at them. There was also a corpse broken in a horrible way. Eyewitnesses said that it was a man called Darth Vader killed that broken man as his fists made the sound of thunder. By Talos. For such a thing to exist. To break a man like this with punches made of thunder is something I don't want to fight. More than being a strong fighter, the killer is also a strong mage that summoned many walking ice monsters. Magic and its people are always troublesome. But to perform a battle cry on top of that is a scary feat. Someone so strong came in town. I must definitely report this. If this man is not acting against us, then Jarl Ulfric will try badly to rope him in. Captain Tane. Captain Ralof. Huff, one of my subordinates came running for me. He was supposed to be guarding on the gate. What? Take your breath, then speak. Yes. Huff just coughed just a minute ago. One man passed the gate with force on top speed. He was riding a horse made of fire. We couldn't stop him. Horse made of fire? What is that? The Jarl can wait few more minutes. I followed the guard to the gate and listened to the witnesses. They all confirmed the story. More than that, the description matched that of Darth Vader. What is going on today? I guess this should be reported. I ran to my superior, Commander Galmar Stonefist, Jarl Ulfric's housecarl. All that happened? He said. Yes. He is confirmed to be young and a very capable warrior. I said my opinion on the accident. Fine. Follow me to the Jarl. It wasn't long since we saw Jarl Ulfric. Galmar, I told you to Feeny. Oh, you're bringing Ralof, huh? The Jarl was looking up some map. Yes, there is something interesting that happened in the city Ulfric. It's like this, Gulmar said all he learned from me to the Jarl. A thunder fist, huh? That's a new one. Are you sure it was not magic? The Jarl asked me. The people saw him punching, Jarl. I don't know what kind of a mage punches with magic if he can just cowardly throw magic like the rest of his kind, but he was also confirmed to be a mage. I said, strange. Something new is happening. He killed a fighter I was planning to recruit, so he must compensate me for that. Jarl Ulfric seemed to be interested. Pass my order. He said that Darth Vader is to be considered a criminal and wanted only alive. Reward any tip about him. Wah, what is the Jarl thinking? Jarl Ulfric values talents so much, so he would do anything to get his hands on one. But I feel like we are missing something. There was a dumb-air girl with Darth Vader. There was also a dumb-air girl with John Dare 3 days ago. Can it be? No, John won't do things this way. I am just overthinking it. John's POV. I managed to tell Jellinar to go outside the city before me as her control over a Fom Atronak horse is not that great, so I had to go take our things back alone. Just as I could rode outside the bridge, I saw Joel, who already summoned her horse and was waiting for me. Where are we going now? She asked me and looked a bit exited. Helgen? Alina's POV. Just another boring day at the college. Well, it is less boring than staying in the clan and staring at the snow or waving a sword all day. I came to the college after I nagged the whole clan for a day. I sealed of the ancestral hall until they agreed to let me out. Finally, freedom. Or so I thought. Steward Thurek had to follow me to the college. I also took Skywalker's Faken with me. If he could broaden his understanding of the sword during this day out, he may achieve a breakthrough and become a Skyrunner. But things are not waiting for a person in place to reap them. In my path of mysticism, my talents of truth-seeking and telling the future are not enough. I need to understand Magicka to its deep aspects. That's why I requested to follow Archwizard Narina Aran, a legendary figure and the person who revived the school of mysticism in the college. But that idiot of a steward had to interfere and make a direct appeal to the Archmage of the college to make me a personal apprentice to Archwizard Narina. Was his head made of fart? I said I only would attend her classes. Not that I need to be anyone's personal apprentice. I am afraid I was forced on Archwizard Narina and may have caused her some inconvenience. I tried to go and apologize, but when I went to her private quarters, I saw Teacher Faralda and Teacher Loneth flying out of the door. They said it was some experiment went wrong, and I don't have to worry as I was invited in. I just don't want to remember the rest of that day. But in the evening, Archwizard Narina talked to me, and she was unlike her mad wizard self just a second ago. She complimented my understanding for a bit, then said she has a legacy disciple, and I don't have to bother proving myself. Those words made me get more fired up, and I started asking about that disciple who later seemed to be the same gifted businessman who changed the town greatly. I was a bit triggered and I issued a challenge against him. Alas, he was in an indoor studying and can't be called out. He may be a good theorist and businessman, but he can't be a match against me in combat magic. Only that man Darth Vader is someone I can't defeat, but he seems to be not a person who settles in one place. Few weeks passed and I heard some news about his appearance in Windhelm, punching like thunder and riding a fire horse. That is him. The horse seemed to be something that was recreated from an ancient spell by Archwizard Narina and her disciple. It was contributed to the rest of the college, and I could acquire it just a week ago. It also made me more than sure that Darth Vader is a college student. Anyway, I can't seem to get a hold on both John Dare or Darth Vader. I was told that John Dare will come out later by the end of the year to take his last exam and become a scholar. I guess I'll have to waste my time around and learn new things other than swordsmanship or destruction magic. I am sure that the world of magic has new ways of magic I may find out on my own. Something like that book Wind and Sand that Master Narina told me to research. I am sure I will give her a surprise. End of the volume. Next fall, Firemane Clan. Chapter 88, 4 months later. Joel's POV. The forest in Falkreath Hold is certainly wild. At first, I didn't understand John's decision for coming here, but maybe I was the one hated from the start. After all, this is the place where I lost my left eye. Still, John was considering me and did take me to Falkreath itself. We went to a town called Helgen, as it seemed John desperately wanted to see the place. According to him, he didn't have much information about this town from his past life, as it seems it was destroyed by an evil dragon. No matter how unbelievable it is to fight dragons, he is training night and day for that purpose since we came to live around Helgen 4 months ago. Speaking of, a lot has changed. I started my training as a magic archer, and it proved to be as amazing as John said it would be. Flame-exploding arrows, shock multi-target arrows, frost trap arrows, force arrows, illusion arrows. As long as there is magic, there is an arrow for it. I tried to train the Thursday like John, but he said for normal people, it would take ages to comprehend one meaning of a single word. The vexing thing is, when I finally managed to learn one word in those 4 months, he has managed to comprehend a whole new shout. Not just that, he created a brand new original shout that has a strange effect. I don't remember what it was called, but it is one truly pathetic shout. Anyway, he also found a martial path for himself that greatly suited his magic and combat way. He abandoned his weapons for the current training and now is using only his bare fists. That's why we are not living in Helgen. Still, I come here every day to get our food and other things. Luckily, we had a lot of money and gold, and we took some jobs from the town and the Imperial garrison here, so our funds are far from running out. John loves money, and he made sure to not run out of it. Life can never be any better. Me, him, the annoying cat, and no one else. This is my ideal life. But it is almost over now. Our training is almost complete, and we have to go home to Winterhold. We will have some stops along the way, so we will not get home immediately. John kept saying things about a hunt or something. We will also sneak somewhere very scary. I don't know why I kept thinking about all these stuff. I am on a job now. Some wolves attacked a peddler on his the way from Falkreath to Helgen, so the garrison put a reward for thinning the wolves' numbers in the forest. John didn't bother hunting some wolves. To him, hunting now is about how far can he sense a presence with magic, and his detection magic became scary lately. And he has to spend time with his new friend Jack now. He said he will have to kill him before we leave Helgen. The hunting didn't take me 3 hours, and I filled the cart I came with. Now I have almost 9 dead wolves here. The strange thing is, the wolves were somehow skinny and looked like they haven't eaten in a long while. This is unnatural. I even saw small wolf cubs, but they were so small and hungry. I wouldn't go after them unless they try to attack. Fortunately, they turned tail and ran. John may know what broke the balance of the forest, as he is one of its dwellers now. Now let's head back to Helgen. Young Joel, come take a look. Some mead from Whiterun. Thank you, Uncle. Young Joel, haven't seen you in the prayer to Mara yesterday. Sorry, Ani. I was hunting. Young Joel, the clothes you ordered are finished. Thanks, Grandma. I'll come before sunset. Young Joel, this, young Joel, that. I'll murder you people. Since the time I settled in this town, I became very popular. Hunting brought me some money, but people strongly like to interfere in my business now. Why did it turn like this? I know why, actually. Before I leave, Lady Narina gave me something and I tried it. The effects were not fast, but they were disastrous. Everyone and their mothers suddenly started to like me. John also noticed and made a thumbs up as approval. Life became somehow easier but a bit annoying since then. I guess it's for the greater good. Now, I just need to deliver the hunt and go find John. Perfect Adrius. Today's hunt. Huntress Jellinar. Thank you. 9. All are perfect kills. I can't help but to praise your skill. Thanks. How much will all that worth? Let's see. I negotiated with Perfect Adrius for the price, and it was a win. Always a pleasure doing business with you, Huntress Jellinar. If any of those annoying soldiers harassed you, just come to me directly. I think John will take care of anyone who may have funny ideas. That's what I am afraid of. I am telling you to come for me for things not to turn out like last time. Just how can a girl like you communicate with that caveman? Ha ha ha. I'll do that then. Last time. Sigh. A soldier from the garrison harassed me, and I told John. Things didn't turn out funny after that. John slapped the soldier's dead ancestors out of him and his drinking buddies in the middle of the tavern. A rumor came out after from day that a slap from John is a straight way to oblivion. John maybe have became a bit too powerful in this training session. Putting those thoughts aside, I kept coming and going around the town and bought the things John asked for. He needed some new clothes and larger boots. He also needed some mammoth meat that we always order. We actually started hating the mammoth meat from how much we ate it, but it was very important to John's current growth rate and to him, to mine too. Anyway, he suspected that this rapid growth state of his will come to an end in a day or two, so he started to pack all things for our departure. After some time, I arrived at the forest once again and took the way south. There was a cave that John and I lived in. Just a small cave with only one room, but it was cozy and nice. There was a small stream nearby, and the area was mostly safe because of John's presence. Meow. Here you are. We were looking for you this morning. Nefertiti, this annoying cat, became very moody lately. She wouldn't listen to anything I say. Strangely, she has an understanding with John and only listens to him. I carried her before she thinks of running away and started walking to the cave. Just as I was about to walk in the cave, a tall shadow came out. Joel, you came. John's POV. Joel, you came. Finally. She must have brought it. Joel. Take this. What's wrong? Why is she lagging? She was eyeing me up and down. Something wrong with me? She got closer and looked at me. You got a bit taller. What? Again? Imogen. I am sure. Crap. This is crazy. I have grown too much lately, just like a bamboo cane after rain. This is not good at all. My appetite is endless too. And you need to shave your beard. WHSD kind of a 16 years old has a beard. She said. I am just too taken aback to reply right now. Unlike what she said, I am not 16 yet. My life is going completely in a weird direction since I came to Helgen. I have grown taller than I used to be. My facial hair came out of nowhere. My muscles changed dramatically. Even my fighting style became something new. I only wanted to use this journey to heal my condition of astral damage by absorbing a higher grade vitality, but it wasn't a problem at all. I managed to hunt more than 9 trolls and everything was solved in the first month alone. That time, I had nearly 4 months of free time. So I decided to train Jelena and myself on our new fighting styles as well as making a new shout and some spells. Even though most of it was a success, I didn't notice the physical changes I was going through. Mostly because I literally caved myself and put more effort in training and research. Sigh. If only I knew, maybe I could have prepared myself mentally, but I took the shock too hard. Even my clothes didn't fit me anymore. I had to tear the sleeves of the college's robe. Luckily, the enhancement didn't cover that area. Other than the robe, nothing fit me anymore. I had to buy big pieces of cloth to cover myself with it. I looked like some ancient Greek guy. But finally, Joel has brought clothes that fits me this time. I was afraid of never finding anything that fits, but it was a baseless fear now. I can finally have something comfortable. How tall did you get now? Joel asked while giving me a bag full of soft clothes. If I got taller like you said, then I am 206 EMS now. Damn. If I ever achieved this height in my past life, I would have been famous. Yep, I would have joined the national basketball team or something. The scaled cuirass you used to have, does it still fit you? Nope. You can have it. So you are not going to use any armor at all? I'll look for something that will fit me. Joel took the scaled cuirass happily. It is actually a perfect piece of armor. Maybe she was skinny 4 months ago, but the mammoth meat showed an amazing effect on her body. She also was secretly using some herbal mixture I don't know about, but it was something made of juniper berries, purple mount flowers, and some oil. If I have to guess, then it is something for women. Why did I think like that? Well, because Joel's body also started to change. She has grown some boobs. Joel, of all people, managed to quit being flat. I tried to ask her, but I was told off badly. I could only ask Nefertiti to spy on her. Anyway, in terms of physical changes, I was having a nightmare, but she was living the dream. Sigh. Life. Anyway, I don't have time to try the clothes. I have a meeting with my buddy, Jack. Today I am killing it. As I was heading out, Joel called for me. Hey, there is something strange in the forest. What is it? Today, I was hunting wolves for the garrison, but it went like this. She started telling me a story about the wolves who were starving and how they looked skinny. She felt something off. Indeed, she is right. Wolves don't come this close to Helgen. They avoid humans and live a bit to the west. They normally prey on deers and elks. Something must have happened to that place. As a registered hunter by the town, I know that poaching is not allowed and strictly prohibited in Falkreath, so it will be hard for poachers to move freely in these woods. My guess is, some beast stronger than the wolves drove them away. Interesting. After I kill Jack, I'll go look out for whatever that is. Thinking of Jack, I left the cave to Joel and put force in my leg to run in the forest. I used Empower, a new spell that I came up with so I can run faster, hit harder, and defend better. It was not casted like a normal spell. It was inner casted like a game power. This is one of my new achievements. I finally can active a spell on myself without casting. This is a huge breakthrough on my part. My running speed was not something a normal human. No, even a trained human cannot run as fast as this. As mages tend to neglect physical power and looked down on it, while warriors did the same about magic. I found a way to puff physical power with magic and boost my strength. Due to that, I kept running at the forest until I reached a certain place. Jack, come out wherever you are. Rower. Here it is. My buddy Jack. It is a black-furred 2 meters tall cave troll. As soon as I reached his territory, he became mad and threw a big rock at me. You three-eyed stupid gorilla, who taught you to throw stones at visitors? Jack didn't hear me and roared again. He was still furious from the beating he took 3 days ago. Today will be the last fight. Now come at me. I went all out today on poor Jack. He didn't survive. I remembered the first time I met that idiot. I managed to absorb some vitality from it, then the system informed me that the astral damage condition was removed. I decided to keep Jack alive since then and kept engaging in fights with it as a training. During my growth state, I reached the point where I can overpower a troll by myself barehanded. It was a great achievement wrestling with a troll. Today I had to kill it, so it don't attack anyone. I used Empower, which buffs me greatly. I also used Shock Redirect, which can take the force of the incoming blow and redirect it through the body into a counterattack. This is me walking the path of Arcane Warrior now. My arsenal of skills as magical melee fighter became large, and I had plenty of options now. Status. Name, John Dare. Race, Human, Nord. Age, 15. Level, 28. Attributes. Health, 476/480. Stamina, 183/300. Magicka, 607/830. Magic. Times Mysticism. Magicka Outer Control. Link Magicka. Spellbreak. Space. Awareness. Spacemark. Blink. Force. Shockwave. Nature. Energize Flora. Soul. Silence. Inner Magicka Control. Soulfire. Empower. Shock Control. Times Conjuration. Bound Armor. Cuirass. Helmet. Conjure Undead. Wrathman. Conjure Atronak. Flame. Normal Horse. Conjure Dremora. Fighter. Churl. Caitiff. Kinvil. Archer. Churl. Caitiff. Kinvil. Assassin. Kinvil. Times Destruction. Flame. Meteor. Fireclaw. Times Illusion. Will. Sleep. Vision. Heat Vision. Shared Vision. Times Powers. Aura. Lightning Aura. Flames Aura. Bloodlust Aura. Madness Aura. Blood Lineage. Activating. Giant's Blood Lineage. Times Thursday. Clear Skies. Lock. Sky. Va. Spring. Core. Summer. Aura Whisper. Loss. Life. Black small square, 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 black small square. Vonid. Black small square, black small square, black small square, black small square. Never. Black small square, black small square, black small square, black small square. Dozrag. Black small square, black small square, black small square, black small square. Chapter 89, Falkreath. Okay, everything was beautifully packed up by me and Joel. She is going to use a small two-wheeled cart she bought to put things in. It will be pulled by a flame Atronak horse, so we won't be struggling like before. The next destination on this journey is Falkreath town itself. I know Joel has a bad history with the town, but it will be a good chance to visit her mother's grave. I think it will at least give her some peace of mind and may be able to free herself from the bad emotions she is struggling with. I also had a goal in mind. I currently have no armor, and even though it doesn't really matter to me, a good armor is something that make Nords look with respect to the person he or she is wearing it rather than someone who dressed in a mage robe with the insignia of the hateful College of Winterhold like me. Before we head out, I felt like Joel wanted to look at Helgen one last time. Unlike Winterhold, Joel is very popular here. She is not considered my follower or anything. On the contrary, I am the one who is considered a follower to her, and people really hate me. They call me names like the Caveman and the Barbaria, as well as many other worse names due to me living in a cave the last 4 months. Jellinar, on the other hand, got few love confessions and secret admirers from the garrison soldiers and the town boys. Unlike the rest of Skyrim, Helgen is very unique. The people here are living on the trade route between the Empire of Cyrodiil and Skyrim. Not just that, the people actually had many relatives across the other side of the borders. All this and that caused them to be more open to outsiders and don't give the racial differences too much thoughts. This was what made Jellinar, who was a half-Nord human half-dark elf, receive a very good treatment with how much she contributes to the community as an excellent huntress. They also disregard the issue with her blind left eye, which made her feel good about the town and spend more time there. The annoying this is, the townsfolk who wanted to free Joel from the evil me did really reckless things. Some of them tried to challenge me head-on. Even though they were no match, they weren't willing to give up that easily. But one day, a soldier from the Imperial garrison harassed Joel as I was around. Normally, she should have taken care of it herself, but my woman would only look at me with teary eyes as long as I am around. That day, I made it clear that I was not really serious while beating up those so-called challengers. I used some magic and slapped the soldier 10 meters away. After that day, a legend came out about my hand that can conjure the ghosts of someone's dead ancestors with only one slap. Anyway, I made a problem with the garrison prefect and had to solve it with a big talk with the town's elders and some officers. I had to reveal my identity as this year's champion as well as my college seal and my thainship seal. I had a better treatment but was still called the Caveman in secret. Now that I think about it, Helgen may be the most friendly town in Skyrim so far. Even though they are Imperial supporters because of the garrison in town, they are not really bad. I also had the chance to meet with some NPCs that I never had to interact with in the game, like an old man called Velid who was mentioned and also appeared by Ralof in the game's first cutscene. Apparently, the mead that old Velid makes is a something to kill for. I made sure to buy from it whenever I had the chance. All in all, the town is not really bad. It is busy, active, and very open-minded. Too bad it is the very first town the dragon, Alduin, destroys at the start of the game. Joel was always in a bad mood whenever I mentioned this fact to her. For that, I had to promise her to save the townsfolk when the time comes few years from now. After some talking with our acquaintances in town, we took our leave and used the western gate to head to Falkreath town. I was dressed in the new clothes and looked like some merchant myself. We also had to turn down an escort job as we are going to travel fast on Flame Atronak horses. Speaking of Flame Atronachs, I managed to create another form, and it looked super cool. I won't use it now as a mount because it will scare the living ghosts out of those who see it, and the horse is still useful. Anyway, the road was fine for a while, but some wolves appeared along the way. Joel put them down using her bound bow and arrows so we could continue the travel smoothly. From what I saw just now, I came to the conclusion that the wolves have faced a very strong enemy to fall from glory this much and attack people on the way. I guess Joel's analysis was right. Something is driving them out of their territory. This will turn into a big problem if the Jarl's hunters don't hurry up and take care of it. A beast that can mess with the ecosystem is on the loose. I kept using scan all along the way and had some results. Deers are thriving in numbers. I don't understand what is going on, but for the deers to live peacefully in the same area where the wolves are suffering is something unheard of to an inexperienced hunter like myself. Is there some superhero that saves the deers and hunt the wolves? I couldn't make my head around it no matter how I much thought. Anyway, the forest had its own problems, and I have to take care of mine. If by any chance the reason was figured out, and it was worth my while, then I'll go do something about it. After few hours of fast riding, we almost reached Falkreath. This is my first time in this town, and I always hated coming here for the first time each playthrough in the game. There is some annoying quest about an annoying dog that requires me to make an annoying journey to an annoying cave, and kill some annoying Clutis to meet an annoying Daedric Lord and claim an annoying axe for him to get a cool-looking helmet in the end. The only thing I remember good about the quest is the reward helmet though. Anyway, before getting into town we had to banish our Atronach horses, and I started dragging the small cart by hand. Jull also had to cover her head just in case if anyone recognized her from her old acquaintances, either from the townsfolk or the Dark Brotherhood assassins. As we looked like the normal travelers to the guards, we were allowed in the town. Falkreath is one of the major cities located in Skyrim. The town lies in the southwest of the province of Skyrim, near the borders of Hammerfell and Cyrodiil. At one period in history, Falkreath was part of Cyrodiil. Later, the town became a settlement in Skyrim. The current Jarl of Falkreath is Dingir of Stun, a Nord elder who is not fond of the Empire and will support Big Bad Ulfric in the Civil War as if he was the second coming of Talos. Eventually, it will lead to him being overthrown by his nephew Sigir. Falkreath has a famous graveyard. The graveyard contains many famous Nords who requested to be buried here, next to the other honored dead of past battles. The hold itself is on the borders with two other nations which are Hammerfell and Cyrodiil. That gave the hold a very high strategic value, and it was a place of many battles, thus came its famous graveyard. And since the townsfolk were constantly living alongside the dead, they gave many of their shops and other buildings names related to death. For example, the inn was called Dead Man's Drink, the alchemy shop was called Grave Concoctions, a farm was called Corpselight Farm, and so on. One of them is my destination, and it is the inn to book a room for a few days. I had a few plans in mind, and I needed an hour of operation. Just as we put everything into a room and locked it with magic, I followed Jull around the town. She had a lot of memories in the town and showed me around the places she used to play in and the farm she used to live with her mother in too. At the end of the day, we went to visit her mother's grave. It was a small grave far from the graves that belonged to the Nords under a big tree. The place was peaceful and calm. Jull, who never cried in front of me before, was crying her heart out. This was the first time for her to visit the grave. She wasn't brave enough to do so before. She talked to the grave and introduced me to her mother. She also said that she avenged her mother from those who wronged her, and she now can pass in peace. Finally, she took out her journal and burned it in front of her mother's grave. I don't know what does that mean, as I have never heard of a tradition like this, but it seemed that Jull put her past behind and started to put a goal for her future. Lucky me, I was in a major spot of that goal. As the sun went down, we returned to the inn and had a hearty talk with each other. She leaned on me like a girl in love most of the time now. Funny thing is, I am so tall compared to her, she could barely reach my shoulder. So, you told me you had a few goals you want to achieve in town. Will we get down to it? She said. You still don't look fine. Sure about it? Yes, I need to do something, or I may start crying again. This time I don't think I will be able to stop. Fine, I'll tell. I said. The first thing I am after is a very powerful piece of armor. Back in my past life, I learned it was obtainable through a certain mean, but I have to wait 4 years, and for a certain event to happen. What event? See those people over there? I said as I pointed to a couple of man and woman with a 4-year-old child on the woman's lap. They were just a small family spending the night in the inn. Nothing strange about it. These are Mathies and Indara, as well as their daughter Lavinia. They own a farm in town. Lately, they hired someone to help them in the farm, a Nord called Sinding, and he is a werewolf. 4 years from now, Sinding will kill Lavinia by mistake. What? Joel stood up and attracted some attention. The subject may have felt a bit bitter to her. Sit down, I said. Now Sinding haven't done anything yet, so I find it a bit bad to kill him, but he is a werewolf, so it will be for the greater good anyway. The thing is, I need to find out if he has a certain ring or not. What ring? A white ring with a wolf head. If he have it, then I will do something about him. Joel thought for a while and kept looking at the young girl. After a few seconds she nodded and said she will do anything. First, I haven't found Sinding yet. We need to see if he is around, then make a plan based on his circumstances. That's for now. Joel nodded, looked around, then walked to the bar counter and asked for a drink. I also took Nefertiti and joined some men playing dice. After a few rounds, I pretended like I was willing to buy some crops and asked about the farms, then strayed from a subject to another while buying more mead for the men. After an hour, I walked away and signaled to Joel. What did you find out? She asked. He hates gatherings of people and doesn't come to inns. What about you? He joined a band of hunters in town from time to time. Some hunter bought me a drink and started talking about how mighty their party is. Sinding was mentioned few times. Good. There is a good chance that he might be around if there is many hunters in town now. She nodded to me and followed me outside the inn. I started scanning around until I located the farm Sinding works in, and it looked like he was sleeping. After pinpointing his location and making sure everything is under control, I turned to Joel. Who goes in? Who is the lookout? Only one way to find out. Rock, paper, scissors. Bonus. Black small square alternative game. Shouldn't we play a different game? Joel. How about tag? John. Fine. Let's call for Dawn to join us. Joel. Hey Dawn. We are playing tag. Wanna come? John. Asterisk pushes the glasses up in a cool anime. Way asterisk, you guys know how authors play tag, right? Dawn. Oh. Joel. John. Asterisk takes out gender bender tag with 2 fingers. Asterisk John. You're it? Dawn. Chapter 90. Hunting the Hunter. By the way, guys, in case you are wondering about the Star of Azura, the vote is 51:34 for the Black Star. Enjoy. I lost to her, so Joel went in. No matter how it is, with my new looks, sneaking will be hard. I will need to find a new way to sneak around now. My height totally ruined the whole thief thing I used to do. I kept thinking about this subject while Joel is in there. I really wanted some magic for sneaking. Invisibility spell is not a bad choice. Muffle spell too. There is a spell that is called Chameleon that helps the person to form an illusion around himself that makes him or her visible, but much harder to notice. Speaking of Chameleon spell, I created a shout lately and it was my own original shout. It also had a lot of inspiration from Chameleon spell. The way to create a shout is either by using the current understanding of dragons, which is called the aspect, with certain words of power that share the same aspect between its 3 parts. Still, there is another way. To weaken the dragons, ancient Nords have created a shout to deprive the dragons from their immortality temporarily. This meant that voice masters can train on new words of power that was never created with the dragon's understanding. The problem that comes with that is the aspect. Every words of power had 1 or more aspect. To magic, aspects are the source code of the spell, and with different techniques and effects, the aspects can be manipulated and controlled. Dragons, on the other hand, had a more straightforward way. Each word has an aspect which is considered its understanding, and if one wants to change how the word works, one has to use the word of power with another aspect or understanding that suits it. A good example to that is the word of power I acquired from Mount Anthor, the Slin word which means flesh that comes in ice form, shout, and the word tide which means time that comes from time slow shout. These 2 words were combined by the dragon Alduin to make another spell called Slin Tidevo, which meant flesh time opposite. It is the very shout that Alduin uses to revive his dragon comrades that got killed long time ago, and their souls still dwell in their remains. Point is, 1 word of power has more than 1 aspect or understanding, and a word that has no aspect still have the potential if someone researched its understanding. That took me back to the shout that was used by the ancient Nords to put down dragons. It was really hard to comprehend, and I tried to learn it for years since the first time I started practicing the Thursday but I had to face a bitter truth. No matter how talented I am, I can't learn that shout without witnessing it. If I could learn it, then I wouldn't need to delve into a dangerous dungeon to get an Elder Scroll only for the sake of learning that shout. Still, it was impossible to learn on my own. When I tried to look for records about how the ancient Nord made it, I was left with zero result. Not even the famous Arcaneum of the college had an answer to uncover such a mystery. But it wasn't that hopeless. When I was reading a certain book, I found an old tradition of old mages that was something akin to forcing one's way through understanding, but it was quite dangerous. Researching it with some of my friends, I found out the truth of how to create a special understanding for a word of power, and it wonderful. The ancient Nords used an extreme method to create the shout. It was harsh and had difficult conditions too. The words of power with the proper aspects have the power to make the impossible possible, such as degrading dragons to mortals. To make it that way, first, one must have the true desire to do it. Not just any desire, but one must be driven by strong emotions such as loathing and worth. It was easy to imagine the ancient Nords in such a state of hate against their enemies, the dragons. The second step one must take is to forge those emotions into an understanding on an aspect. Apparently, those ancient Nords who fought Alduin drank alcohol continuously for 7 days and 7 nights. Nothing but drinking and cursing the immortality of the dragons. They kept drinking to fire up their loathing to an unimaginable degree until the point when they gave birth to a new aspect, and that is mortal dragon. No matter how I thought about it, it was incredible, and I insisted on copying what they have done. During my training and on a later stage when my hunger was easily suppressed, I chose a location in the forest and put my mind into action. I had learned the first word of Aura Vision, shout beforehand, and copied its unique technique. Aura Vision is not exactly a shout, it is a whisper, the only Thursday that was introduced in the game as one that can be used in sneaking and can't be heard easily. Anyway, after I arrived to the forest, I hid myself within the flora and started to merge in mind with it. It rained heavily the first night. It became cold the second night. Birds started to stand on me the third night. A small snake attacked the birds the fourth night. Some ants had a fight with the snake and drove it away the fifth night. A bear came and scratched his back to me the sixth night. Some bees came and attacked the bear that stole their honey the seventh night. Day by day, my presence started to be thinned and merged with the place around me. I also kept whispering the new words of power I tried to create. Until the seventh night, my presence in the forest was so thin that I was hard to spot as a person anymore. The eighth day was when the aspect was born. During that time, I found a way to channel my energy to nature and enrich it. I also found many ways to give magicka and make the flora get energized. By the time, I was finally planning to break free from my isolation, but something more incredible happened. It was nothing in there. Joel came out of nowhere, and I was not in the mind to even sense her coming. "Don't tell me you spaced out," she said angrily. "I am so sorry. I was planning something, hey? It's not the time that Sinding doesn't have the ring. I searched the whole place few times with scan, but it was clean. Oh. This is not according to the plan at all. So we don't know where the ring is. And we have no clue about it. Okay, this is enough for today," I said and walked away from Sinding's place. "What will we do then? We can't stay in this town forever, and we can't ensure anyone's safety from a werewolf." "I know. Sinding will steal the ring one day, so that means he has a meaning to know where it is. Also, he is a werewolf, and werewolves don't live in isolation from the pack." "What do you mean?" "I am saying there is another group of werewolves we don't know about. If I am not mistaken, Sinding belongs to a pack and they are nearby. There is a lot of questions here, but I can already see a rough image of the situation now. Let's track him the next few days." "I have already taken care of that. I have marked him with a pinpoint spell." "Smart girl. Good move indeed." We went back to the inn and directly to bed. I wasn't hungry like the last few days, and I started to return to my normal diet. The next day, I went out and started looking around the forest for anything abnormal. The fact that there may be a werewolf den around the area made me excited as I have never fought one before. Many hunters chose the path of lycanthropy because of the many perks it would give them, but most importantly it was for the perks of acute and sharp senses. These gifts were incredible for hunters. For a mage like myself, this was nothing amazing. I can train myself to the point where I can be as sharp as any beast anyway. And between training and gifts, training is more solid. The day passed by, but I couldn't find any interesting tracks or mark. Werewolves tend to leave some totems to mark their territories, but there was nothing here. If this keeps going, I will have to use more reckless measures. Joel's search was the same. Nothing she could find. That brought an end to the day, and it started to make me feel impatient. To a hunter, impatience is a sin, but I am no hunter. I will do something about it. The next day, I decided to make a strong appearance in town. My plan was to disguise as a vigilant of Stender. The Vigilants of Stender are a militant order of fighting monks and holy warriors of Stender, the Divine of Mercy. It was founded after the Oblivion Crisis that almost ended the world to combat the Daedric influence. The Vigilants also seek to root out vampires, werewolves, witches, and other creatures that prey on mortals. The appearance of such a character in Falkreath will sure create a small uproar. Joel will be watching Sinding's actions while I am snooping around him. I had a locket of Stender that looked like one of the god's magical amulets. It was easy to fool people with it as the god amulets are actually rare, and those who can tell the difference are only the mages or priests, so I was safe as long as no one important checks it. I also put some shielding half-assed enchantment on it to be safe. After sneaking out of town, I changed my appearance a bit and wore a robe. Also, I carried the Mace of Sun damage that Joel uses. I think the act can stick around for some time now. I entered the town once again from a different gate and introduced myself as a vigilant. I thought for a second that my height may give me out, but it seemed to be fine as long as I avoid the inn. After talking to people and raising suspicions about werewolves, I went to the place Sinding works in, Corpse Light Farm. Stender's mercy be upon you, for the vigil has none to spare. Oh, yes, welcome. I talked to Matthews, the farm owner, and put a small amount of aura in my walk and talk. The people were easily intimidated by my presence this way. I really was apologizing to them in my heart. I didn't want to scare them at all. The one I was after is Sinding. Sinding was present in the place and heard me asking about the werewolves, yet he acted cool and natural. He was very calm and didn't even look away. Anyway, after I was done, I walked out of town and headed south. Only then, I had checked my surroundings and changed back to my normal appearance, then sneaked back to town. How was he acting? I went to Joel, who was waiting in the graveyard. He acted as if he was ill and requested to take the day off to visit the shrine. Good. He is moving. Hey, before we go, Joel handed me a flask with a strange liquid. This is? I asked. I realized that we neglected one fact. Werewolves are very vigilant to sense. We may get caught if we tracked him down like this. Oh, I almost neglected that fact completely. Humans are not that great with sense, but sure as hell werewolves are. Joel just saved the whole operation right now. What is that anyway? I asked. A mixture that the hunters use, some grinded herbs that grow in the forest and other things. Good. Let's go after him. Bonus. Plus the other things. Joel, you said other things are in this mixture. John.
Yes.
Joel, what are they? John. You want to know? Joel.
Sure.
John. Really? Joel. Really? John. Animals poop. Joel. I don't want to know anymore. John. Chapter 91. Werewolves 1. John's POV. It was night, and I was running silently in the forest. Tracking Sinding proved to be a challenge without magic. Hunters are natural foresters, and to go down after one in the forest is like going through a person's house as he know every nook and cranny of it. That was the case here. Sinding suspected that he may be followed, so he walked a trail full of traps. Lucky me, I who can scan with magic cannot fall easily for traps. Deadly traps? I think I may tolerate the other traps, though. Sending destination is to the north, and he is running not too fast, but then he started to look around in a weird fashion, then undressed himself completely. Suddenly, something strange started to happen. I was sensing from over 50 meters away by magic, and I had mental image of what was happening, but that I had to see. I found a spot that activated a spell called Far Vision. By this spell, my sight can reach further than normal humans. It was a magnifect spell. Anyway, I could see Sending more clearly when I combined the spell with Night Vision. Everything became clear from my point of view. Sending was transforming. He was turning into a werewolf. Werewolves, the most common of lycanthropes found in Tamriel. They are monstrous, wolf-like creatures taller and broader than man and mare, and are capable of moving on two limbs or sprinting on all four. They can attack with both their claws and teeth, inflicting lycanthropy with their bite. Those with the wolf blood are prone to violence, whether accidental or intentional, as they live with a constant bloodlust which drives them to kill and devour their enemies. Werewolves are widely feared and hated in Tamriel, and will be attacked on sight if spotted in beast form. Sanis lupinus is the forceful transformation disease that causes all werewolves to transform under the influences of the moons. Regardless the advantages and disadvantages of becoming a were-creature, those who accept the gift must serve Herson in the afterlife. Herson is a Daedric prince whose sphere is the hunt, the sport of Daedra, the great game, the chase, and is known as the huntsman and the father of man-beasts. Herson created the various therianthropic diseases which transform mortals into beasts, and is therefore the guardian of were-creatures. Even with all of that, the most effective weapons against were-creature are silver weapons. They cause the were-creatures to feel a terrible pain and unhealable wounds. Still, how amazing! The scene in front of me is beyond what my information from the game or the studying would provide. Witnessing how a human body can transform from its normal to the lycanthrope form is fascinating. I would love to have a closer look or study it multiple times. How can bodies transform that way? I can think of few theories about how Herson, who created the lycanthropy disease, managed to do it. Lycanthropy is a supernatural condition that causes a person to transform into a were-creature, an unnatural crossing between a beast and their original species. It has been called a disease, a curse, and a blessing. Lycanthropy is contagious, and not selective about who it afflicts, as most mortal races are susceptible to it. From what I know, bodies can change if we change the form of the astral body with the help of a strong magic source. It is also the way how I am planning to cure Jeliner's eye. Anyway, changing the physical body by changing the astral body is very complicated. From what I think, werewolves have two astral bodies. The first is their normal human astral body, and the second is a wolf's astral body. The wolf's astral body is supposed to be dormant and sleeping in normal cases to gather enough magicka for the next transformation. And to suppress or apply the transformation, one must learn how to channel energies between the two astral bodies. This is wonderful. I also understood why werewolves can't have an easy sleep, or in other words, don't get a sleeping bonus from the game. The wolf astral body is always draining energy from the human astral body. It makes the human astral body always low on energy, as the reaching the well-rested state is bounded by regaining all the lost stamina, vitality, and magicka. Truly, there is wonder in everything. But the true mystery is, how can human cells transform that much with that speed? I am not a biology scientist, and I don't even have the power to witness the cell's transformation, so I guess it is impossible for me to know. But one thing is clear. Transformation hurts like a bitch. Sending is hitting the ground with his fists, as if he is trying to suppress all the pain inside with another form of external pain, but his groans proved that there is no way that is happening. After a minute, Sending was not Sending at all. He was completely something else. Mara, Jeliner, who was beside me, also had a clear vision and saw everything clearly. She also started to pray to Mara nowadays. Sending is now a werewolf. Sending stood on his rear legs like a man, but his upper body was clearly not giving the feeling at all. I had a bad vibe when I felt its aura. It is strong. Much stronger than trolls. Suddenly, he looks at our direction. I made sure not to be discovered by it seems that I have underestimated the werewolves. Sinding scanned the place with his eyes few times, then looked away. This was close. He was still walking slowly, but I don't want to follow him like that anymore. Joel, you still have him pinpointed? Yes. Fine. We can only track him within the radius of 200 meters with your capabilities. Let's take it easy. Joel seemed to agree, and we sat on the ground. John, we need to follow. Now. Why? He started speeding up. In few seconds he will be out of range and I will lose him. Damn it. I cursed as I started to run following Joel's directions. We were fast, but Sinding appeared to be faster. We were losing him slowly. Joel, jump on my back. I only had that thought in mind. Joel jumped and I carried her on my back. Just as we were ready, I activated Empower and pushed the ground harder, then activated Hasten, and my speed exceeded the limit. This was my fastest. Are we getting close? Yes. Steadily. Steadily? I thought I was a little bit too fast, but it seemed that Sinding is taking his speed to the limit too. Is he escaping or what? I kept running while making the system update me about my stamina from time to time. Stamina, 254/300. Stamina, 203/300. Stamina, 183/300. Stamina, 134/300. Damn it. I am running out of stamina at that rate. I can't just take out the flame Atronach horse is this forest. First, the forest is too full of obstacles and I am running in a semi-parkour style because I am carrying Joel in my back. Second, the flame Atronach horse tend to leave some fire behind when it runs, so it is rather dangerous to the forest. There is another solution, and that is to summon the new Atronach form I created, but it will be too visible, and Sinding won't even need his superhuman senses to find me. Cast Heal on me. I asked Joel to do this as the final answer. Heal can restore some stamina in the process of healing. The running was not done yet, and I saw a stream. I started racking my brain about the area as I was not very familiar with it, but of course there was a faster solution. Map? Map. There it is. The system's most convenient tool that I always forget to use. It also provided me the location of Sinding based on my scan. He was heading to a small pond called Evergreen Grove. The place was known to be peaceful in the game, and it could be the place Sinding's pack are hiding at. My guess was correct. Sinding stopped. I also slowed down and put down Joel. She had a better chance in sneaking than I can now, so she went a bit ahead of me. Joel's POV. John wanted me to eavesdrop on the pack. I was using scan, but I hardly got any reading form here. John, however, said there are 4 more readings other than Sinding. I sneaked ahead of him and could hear few people talking. The place Sinding was in is a grove of trees concealing a small pond fed by a rocky stream, as well as a ruined and flooded Nordic barrow buried underwater. There were 4 fur tents and 4 people making fire in the place. They didn't get panicked when Sinding popped up. It seems that these are the rest of the pack. Easy. Calm yourself and inhale this, and you will be fine. A voice of a man sounded and I could see a large silhouette from afar. What brought him today? He seemed to have ran on all 4 all the way to here. The scene in front of me started unfolding as I used vision magic to get a better hold of the situation. A man with a strong build was making Sinding in his werewolf form inhale some smoke. It looked like that expensive incense that Lady Nurina imports, but it looked rather more special. Sinding in his panicked state started to calm and lay on the ground. Slowly his limbs started to become smaller and the fur on it started to disappear. In my opinion, I find it very disgusting. John, on the other hand, looks at the transformation as if a child looking at a new toy. In a minute, Sinding appeared on the ground in his human form again and looked too tired. He was obviously naked, so his comrades covered. Here, drink this. What brought you today? The big man asked. Vigilant. A vigilant of Stinder appeared in town this morning. He was snooping around about werewolves. Sinding spoke with a pale face. Huh. Impossible. The old man frowned. We just arrived here, and the only pack around is the one in Cracked Tusk Keep. This is valuable information. I've to remember it. Tell me what happened from the start. The man asked Sinding, and Sinding started talking about what happened this morning. The big man listened and scratched his head. This doesn't make any sense, he said. The vigil does not travel alone. They always come and go in groups. I don't understand what happened, but for this man to come and disappear like that is certainly not normal. Do you have anything of his scent? No. I barely made a natural face in front of him and escaped his gaze by acting normal. Never mind. Tomorrow we will try to investigate him, so rest now. We'll move at dawn. Rissing, you will remain in camp. The man named Rissing answered with a nod. Hey, Torkild, this transformation is consuming me. You said something about suppressing it before. Sinding asked the big man, whose name apparently Torkild. New blood like you always fancy this story. Listen, this is not something you can just go and acquire. It is called Herson's Ring, an artifact of Herson that will grant the owner the ability to transform into a werewolf if he is not one and control his transformation if he is one. You need the permission of the ring holder for the ring to be passed down. Who is the owner? Gunzel. Wait, the leader of the werewolf Orsish pack in Cracked Tusk Keep? That's him. Isn't he supposed to be hostile to us? He is, but we have a way to take the ring from him. But that's for another day. Come, rest now. The ring. The same ring John is looking for. This is a good find. I have to tell him now. Just I was about to turn and leave. Crack. I stepped on a broken branch. Crap. Who is there? You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.